Welcome to Cranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Cranky, and this is the Cranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Cranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Cranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Cranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Good evening. For those of you in the chat, thanks for joining. Drew Ross, thanks for being here. And Drew Ross, I know you mentioned that you and I attend that event, so we should link up at some point about that. And I got to get back to you on what the question you posed to me a while back. So link me offline, maybe tomorrow morning or something. We can connect. So thanks for joining. As you can see from the thumbnail, there's about 3 key things I want to talk about. First, I want to say, hope you had a good day. It's 6 p.m. here in the U.S., 5 p.m. in Jamaica. People just leaving work. I think a number of people get off at 5. If you're out west, though, you're probably still working. So it's probably there about 3. And if you in Denver, it's about 4. So, but wherever you are in the world, and if you're overseas in India, it is early morning. If you're in the UK, it's 11 o'clock at night. But wherever you are, I appreciate you being here. Chorus, thanks for joining. Again, Drew Ross. And those of you on the stream, I want to talk about a number of topics today. The World Cup T20, which I think has been a hit in the U.S. and just been a hit period. It's being held in the West Indies and also held in the U.S. for the first time in the U.S. And a number of people who are new to the sport are being introduced to the sport, which is good for it to grow the game on a global basis. Because, you know, the sport has been growing, but not as exponential as quickly as some other sports. I also want to talk about the NBA finals, which I probably would start off with first. Not much of a final so far. Boston has held serve at home, but they look pretty dominant, so we'll get into that a little bit. And then last but not least, we'll talk about some World Cup qualifiers in Concacaf. I won't touch upon a lot of the friendly games. I know some people from some countries are losing their mind, especially in England, because they lost to Iceland, didn't play well, about friendly games. So I won't talk about those, but I'll probably more focus on what's happening in this region in CONCACAF, some of the games. It's going to be interesting going forward where the expected favorites may not do as well as one anticipated. You know, those who are in this region will expect that, given that the US, Canada, and Mexico are perennially the standard bearers in the region, the view is that they would, now that they're hosting the World Cup, that the next 3 teams or 4 teams behind them, and one, the hierarchy would be Costa Rica, Panama, even though that flips sometime, Jamaica, and then you have Honduras, Guatemala fighting. That may change this time around. Teams like Suriname, Curacao has gotten better. I'm sure Haiti would make a push. Trinidad looking decent, even though I think they're going to be challenged. So you're going to have teams in this region who have aspirations for the World Cup and are going to do their darnest to make sure they get there. And it's going to be interesting to see how that all materializes, given that if you look at the first round of games, the 2 teams I think that have not done exceptionally well, just they have won, but have not endeared themselves to fans, are probably Panama and Jamaica, actually. But we'll touch upon that. So let's go to the NBA Finals. The Mavericks against the Celtics, and it looks like a mismatch, people, to be honest. The Celtics were dominant all season, right? Dominant. Really lost a game at home, brilliant on the road. And Dallas came on the late part of the season. I think they had like a 20-4 or 20-2 run end of the season. And then they sort of ran to the West, beat up Oklahoma, beat up Minnesota, two of the favorite teams who were in the top three. I think it was Oklahoma, Minnesota, Denver. They beat those, and Minnesota beat Denver. So you would assume that, given that the West is supposed to be stronger, that Dallas would be a competitive team for the Celtics. They have two phenomenal players in Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And one would expect that, given those two and the supporting cast, because they beefed up the middle of the park for them with Lively and Gafford, that they will do well, but hasn't worked out that way at all. I'll touch upon some of these comments here. Jura saying, I don't know what Jason Kidd can do to figure this out. You know what? It's a great analogy to have between what's happening in the NBA Finals and your Jamaica national team, actually, or any football team. Because the question is, can the coach create miracles? Well, I hate to tell people this, but the coach is not playing. The coach can only do so much. Big up Reggae Boys community. The coach can only do so much. So can Jason Kidd create miracles? I don't know if he can create miracles, but I doubt it. I mean, he can make some changes, but it's hard because you're playing against a team where there are no weaknesses in the front five. That's the problem you have with Boston. Normally, you would have, 3 stars in your team and 2 supporting players, or 2 stars like Dallas has. The other complementary players are there. But Boston team, they all defend. Now they have Porzingis back. They all defend phenomenally. I mean, 2 of them are on NBA all-defensive team, and frankly, all 5 could have been. And I've been, Porzingis being one of the best shot blockers in the NBA. Tatum defends, Brown defends, White defends, and don't talk about Holiday. He's a phenomenal defender. And what people don't realize in this series is that Doncic is getting his. He's the leading scorer in the NBA. But Kyrie has been bottled up by Holiday quite a bit, actually. Kyrie's a phenomenal player, and he did well in the series before against Minnesota, against Oklahoma, but it's not been the same in the series. He has been bottled up somewhat. And if you beat 1 or 2 on the perimeter, when you get to the basket, Porzingis is there. So it's a different story. Am I predicting a sweep, Stefan? I never predict sweep that way because, when you get home cooking and you get fans in the game, it's a motivation. It helps. Referee call games sometimes a little bit differently for the home team versus the road team. But it's hard to see Boston losing series. I think Indiana gave Boston a better game than Dallas because Indiana moved the ball quite a bit. They're very mobile. All their players can score, including Turner, right? Their center can shoot 3-pointers, so they can stretch the field. And Porzingis didn't play. Now that Porzingis is playing, there's a rim blocker, a rim stopper for the Celtics, which wasn't there before in the previous series, and yet they still dominated, right? They won 4 or 5 against Miami. They swept Indiana, so it's going to be tough. I think my Knicks, and people may say, yeah, it's cronky. You'd like to talk about your Knicks. But I think my Knicks, if we were healthy, would have given them a better game because I think we defend. And with Randolph and OG and Brunson, we'd be able to score on them, actually. And we had at different positions, we had some strengths there, even though I think they're very good in all positions. So I do believe that it's going to be very, very tough for Dallas to come through this. I cannot see them win the series. Because even yesterday, Doncic went off, was doing phenomenal in the first 2 quarters. In the third quarter, midway through the third, Celtics went on a run, game over, right? And the problem for Dallas is your centers, who were your rim protectors, when they played Minnesota, because Minnesota has 2 7-foot giants, one plays outside, one plays inside, Porzingis is going to pull you away from the basket. And then you have 2 slashers in Brown and Tatum. It makes it tough because your center then gets pulled from the basket, unless you want to get called for 3-second violation. They probably should play more zone, frankly, than they're playing. I think they probably should just go zone because they cannot take them up. They get taken off the dribble continuously and their centers, frankly, cannot rotate over quick enough to prevent Tatum or Brown getting to the basket and blocking their shots. And on the offensive end, they don't have any scoring in the middle. So you can't force the defense to collapse to give Kyrie more room to maneuver out top. So it makes it very, very difficult. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the series. But I think it's over. I'm disappointed about the finals. I'm disappointed about my Knicks. I'm always going to talk about my Knicks. I thought Minnesota would give them a better game. I just think Dallas doesn't have the people in the middle. Washington has played decent. I'm not sure why Hardaway is not playing. I think his three-pointers and shooting and athleticism would also add some value off the bench. But either he's injured or, Jason Kidd doesn't favor him. But it's going to be a long series for Dallas. So the finals will not be as interesting as one would like. Bless up Tycoon, bless up Float, bless up Chris, and bless up Brownman Security. I love that name. By the way, people, do you get notification for the shows? Because someone indicated to me they wouldn't get any notification. Now, I don't control that. That's controlled by YouTube, or you can go into your settings and check to see if you receive those. So I have no control over that, but hopefully those are going out and people can join. And I'll also be taking quite a bit of calls today, actually. Best up, Kevin. Thanks for being here. And people, if you come in, as you come in, just hit the like button and subscribe. I'm getting used to this thing. I've said it before on other people's channel, but now I'm doing my own. I actually understand the imperative of that occurring. Liking the video, subscribing, and the whole concept of sharing is imperatives for the video to spread and others to view it, so I can get up to I'm trying to get to my, what do you call it, 4,000 viewing hours and 1,000 subscribers. I only have I shouldn't say I only started a week now, but I have 500 subscribers, and I think I have about 1,000 viewing hours. The watch-alongs do help because a lot of people come and go on those watch-alongs. So, please like, share, and subscribe actually when you join. And I got to get used to saying that. When I hear people saying that all the time, I thought it was a little bit annoying, frankly, keep saying that. But now I understand the imperative and the importance of doing it and why there's a focus by YouTubers to have that done, because it drives the analytics, it drives the algorithm. And so please hit the like button as you come in, and hit the share button and send it to your friends and family. And even, as I said before, your cat and your post, just make them. I know you have more iPhone and Android and all that stuff, and I watch these things on. So the more the merrier. Float is saying he does get the notification. Yeah, people, there's a notification bell. You can turn it on. And then when whoever you're watching on YouTube is on, you'll get that notification that the person is on. So I don't think there's a ton more to talk about the NBA Finals, unless you guys want to keep on that road. I just think it's a very disappointing series. It's almost like the finals is a little bit sad because you're watching the two conferences play both in this first, second, and third round. The games are very interesting. Even in the Indiana game, Indiana should have won the first game. Just poor game management at the end. They could have won the third game. So they should not. They got swept, but it wasn't really a true 4-0 swept. Frankly, they had a chance to win a couple of games. And they lost their point guard actually halfway through the series, even though he gave us a hard time the Knicks about us losing, choking over that he calls it when we played them, but we lost 3 or 4 people. Nitro, bless and thanks for joining, Nitro. So yeah, the finals have been underwhelming, Stefan, and it's very disappointing because I was so enthused about June and with the World Cup cricket, with the NBA finals, with the World Cup qualifiers, with the Copa America. Right now, I'm not sure what to look forward to. Maybe it's the cricket, which is the one you expect to have the least interest in if you're from the West Indies, right? Given how we have played over the number of years. So you'd expect the NBA finals to be very interesting, given how Dallas ran through the West and the Celtics ran through the East. That's been disappointing. I expect Jamaica to dominate in this last 2 games, playing 2 teams who are ranked 150 and 180 plus, and we didn't impress, and we are ranked in the 50s. You would expect that, as I said before, West Indies wouldn't have done well, and they're doing well. And then we have the Euro coming up and Copa America. So, and given how we're playing as Jamaica in World Cup qualifiers, that enthusiasm I have for Copa America to see how we match up against the Ecuadors, the Mexico, and Venezuela. I'm losing that edge, I must admit. I want the boys to do well, but I'm not having the same sense. I'm having more of a sense of trepidation than a sense that, you know what, we're going to do well and we're going to compete. Because you want to compete against the best, but the way we played against what I'm going to call minions, or, as I said, which it seems derogatory, and it is, pub teams. And Dominican Republic's not a pub team, but I thought Dominica was a pub team. Pub teams just means I don't think they were that good, and that didn't turn out well. So we'll see how that works. So let's go to the cricket actually. And yesterday, interestingly enough, we had the India versus Pakistan game. I don't think there's any rivalry in any sport, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, that matches the intensity of the rivalry between Pakistan and India. So I watched this game, and I thought India was going to win sort of comfortably because Pakistan lost to the USA. Now that's like, I'm trying to do an analogy here as to what a comparative would be for a USA team, which is like a team that doesn't play cricket, and then a team which is a perennially very good in cricket, even though Pakistan's like the West Indies, very hot and cold. But they lost to the USA. Now, give the USA some credit, because I did watch part of the game against Canada. They do have some hitters in their team and a halfway decent bowling. But come on, Pakistan has quality players in their ranks. And they showed it against India yesterday, right? They really showed it yesterday. But the problem is, in cricket, strike rate is an imperative. You look at the board here. So I'm going to go up top first, because I'm going to Pakistan first. This is India. India did nothing, frankly. And in fact, Rishabh Pant should have been out like 2 or 3 times before he got to his 42. Right? That 42 was a very generous 42 because he didn't play that well. Kohli went for 4. From I see Kohli going, I thought, interesting. Pakistan may have a thing going here. And they did. You look at these scores, only 3 players got in double figures. The highest score was 42. The next highest was 20. They made 119. Do you know how difficult it is to defend 119 in cricket? But at the high level, almost impossible, frankly. Now, I would say this. The wicket was a bowler's wicket, right? Played low, which it has been doing throughout the tournament. It was a bowler's wicket, hard to score on. But frankly, 119 is not truly a defendable score. And I think the guy on a wicket also is hard to play on because it also plays low, right? But you can't be batting. So this is the India lineup, and their score is 119 off their 20 overs. And I walked away saying, I didn't even watch the entirety of it. I walked away saying, Pakistan should knock this off in, say, 16, 17 overs, because the ball was bouncing okay. I think Pakistan bowled brilliantly, frankly. And you can see there are great figures for the Pakistani bowlers, right? When you can get someone to score under four overs and your rate is under 8.5, you're doing okay. And all your bowlers rate on 8.5. You see all these scores here? 29 is the highest that the 4 overs gave up for for Afridi, who's been good for a long time. So that's great. But then you look and see Pakistan, they had 5 players in double figures. The problem is the strike rate. You can't have 31 runs from 44 balls. You just can't. That means over 7.5 overs, you're out there, you only score 31 runs, when you probably need about 7 and over to get comfortable. So I think, look, you need someone to be at the crease. And then we see Johnson Charles did that for the West Indies last game. Charles, who normally very high strike rate, I've always said if he's there for 10 overs, West Indies have a chance in any game. He was there for a bit, but he wasn't scoring. And my philosophy was he's always scoring. He wasn't scoring. So this was disappointing for Pakistan. And the crowd was immense. I spoke to my contractor today, was talking to me because he went to the game on Saturday, and he said he was told by someone who was at one of the games he was at that tickets were going for at least in the best section for like $10,000. Tickets in the top level for 2,500. When I went online, I saw tickets for 870, which were decent seats. So you can see the demand was great. But India has a great team. The problem with India is, I don't want to use the word choke, but if you look at the 50 over World Cup that they just played in, they won all the games. They got 9 or 10 matches, all the games until they get to the finals. Now they play Australia, who, Australia is a different kettle of fish for anybody when it comes to these things. They don't know how to give up. Even when they don't have the best team, they're still winning. So it was very disappointing for India to lose that game, actually. But that's what they did. They didn't play well as they should. They lost the game. And I'm sorry, Pakistan lost the game. India won. And the rivalry is so intense. There were more Indians there than if you watch the because I watch it obviously on TV. There was a sea of blue with drops of green in there for Pakistan. And it was unfortunate. So now Pakistan probably is going to go home because they lost to the USA. They lost to the USA, both to the USA and to India. So in there, if I look at their zone now, you see here, India is 2 from 2. Pakistan is 0 from 2. There's no way they recover from this. If I was to make a bet, the USA has a good chance, but you never know. They still have 2 games to play. They're 2 from 2 also because they beat Canada. They still have to play Ireland and they have to play India. I think India will beat the USA. So this is going to be the Ireland game that decides it for them. Now, come to the West Indies, who are also 2 from 2, but they haven't played anybody, right? They haven't played New Zealand yet, and they haven't played Afghanistan yet, who are the 2 better teams in the zone. So that's going to be interesting also. And Afghanistan has been improving leaps and bounds. I think they have some West Indians. They're helping them. I think Bravo is helping them, is my understanding. But they're improving leaps and bounds. So, excuse me, it's going to be interesting to see how that is going forward, actually. Let me reduce this. So, and if we look to the rest of the standing, England had a difficult game against Australia. So you can look at the standings here. Scotland has won 2 out of 3 because 1 game was rained out with England. Australia is 2 of 2, as we expect. In the next zone, West Indies, Afghanistan. I was pleased with West Indies against Uganda because even though Uganda is not necessarily a cricketing nation, I thought they played really, really well, actually. I thought they played really well. Their bowling was good. Their batting was atrocious. Oh, my Lord. Their batting was really, really bad. I mean, and it's not like West Indies bowling is the best ever, right? So their batting was atrocious, but I'll take this off. So at the end of the day, it's pleasing to see how West Indies is doing. Long may it continue. We would love for West Indies, as they have done twice before in the T20s, the last 10 years to win the tournament. They have the batters to do so. And when you are a power hitting team, one never knows, right? When you're a power hitting team, one never knows. You always have a chance with your power hitting team, and that's the West Indies. So we would hope that the West Indies will continue to progress, play well, and will also win. Marlon, thanks for joining the stream as usual. And Marlon, when you want to jump on once in a while, no, Marlon, you can't jump on because your football. So we'll get to the Jamaica game, the Concacaf game. I'm not going to talk too much about Concacaf games, actually. I'm going to talk about Jamaica because many of you in the chat are focused on the Jamaica national team. It was... So we're only 24 minutes in. You know how quickly I run through the NBA finals because that was much. And cricket is still in the prelim rounds. But it was very, very disappointing yesterday to see how we played against what, as you know, I class as a pop team. I don't know how else to class them. Real pop team. And last night we went through the scores for the rating for the players, and I was surprised that SofaScore gave so many players so many good ratings. So Maybe, when you score by computer and not by the eyes, it has to be a balance. Vinsky, big up. Richard Green, big up. No, I didn't watch the South Africa man, Brown Man Security. I didn't. Today was a very busy day. I was running around today. I didn't get a chance to watch that game. I know they squeezed by Bangladesh. And I know they squeezed by, I think they played the Netherlands also. They haven't been overly impressive. I think their first game they did well. They haven't been overly impressive. What I realized on this tournament is what's surprising people. And here's why more teams would play cricket. Because it's hard to go out there for 5 days in the sun. But T20, your cricket team can get good in a hurry playing T20 cricket. So I'm going to go back to the cricket and then come back to the football. Right? You can get good in a hurry. And it's exciting. And it's not all day. And there's a lot of run scores. So there's a lot of excitement. And sixes are cherished. That's like home runs in baseball. So you can see that America probably could adapt to T20. And in American sports, it's all about continuous entertainment. You go to an NBA game or a football game, there's always doing something, right? In any intermission, they're always doing something to keep your attention. So your attention is always occupied. Well, T20 is always keeping your attention because the ball is always flying out the park or wickets are being taken because players have to be more aggressive and take more risk, right? So I would expect, and I've read some articles. There's one in the New York Times I was reading today before I came on, talking about someone who's never watched cricket going to the game, especially going to the Pakistan-India game and really enjoying the atmosphere and how festive it was, which I think is important actually. So it's going to be interesting going forward to see if more Americans get involved in the sport. Now, the sports are played quite a bit by individuals who have migrated to the U.S. and or their descendants. And the question is, can it spread farther, wider, especially if it becomes an Olympic sports, then you'll probably see more of the Western world, including Canada and the U.S. participating more. And they have, as you can see from the tournament, they have halfway decent teams because the U.S. has won is two games. Big up, Omar. Thanks for joining. So let's go back to the Jamaica team actually, because I know Trinidad won and beat Bahamas like 7-1 or whatever it was. Guatemala scored 9 goals in their 2 games against BVI and against the Dominica team that we struggled against. Now, one may say, Cranky, exaggerating, we didn't struggle. We just had some lapses and we missed a whole bunch of chances. But they also got chance. That team should not get one chance against us, and we should score a bunch against them. And people keep making excuses. The field was bad. We didn't have our best players. All these excuses. No, stop the nonsense. Lansley, thanks for joining. Hit the like button to come in, Lansley. All I know, just hit the like. In fact, I like the fact that the button has been hit. Thank you, people. I see we have more likes than people are watching, so I appreciate that. Bless up Safar Records Music. I'm not sure I even understand that. Safar Record Music, are you a music producer? Because, I try to do the DJ thing. I want to go in a new profession. I try that thing, and the feedback has been mixed. Actually, the feedback has been mixed because the people who know me are less supportive than the people who don't know me, which is really interesting. I just thought I would do something different, right? You come here and do the same blasé thing. People get bored. Say do something a bit different and something which is not supposed to be part of your norm, and you get some feedback. It's a fun thing. So, and I was trying to find an actual record studio, to try to record something. And my niece, who can sing, she's 12, because we actually did. I'm digressing here, people. I'm all over the place, but we did something before, not the one I put out, and it was a different beat to it, and I changed it at the last minute because she was sounding good and I wasn't sounding good. But probably never sound good, frankly. But I wanted to make sure we are in harmony, and we weren't in harmony. But I'm gonna probably put it at a later date when I get my piece of it. Okay. So it's interesting, Langsley. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you hitting all those like, notification, whatever button they are. Thank you. Nitro says, this team will shock a lot of folks come Copa. Which team you talk about, Nitro? Because right now we're in shock and Nitro. Never talk about Nitro. Nitro, which team you talk about? I don't shock who? Are you talking about this team that played yesterday for Jamaica? Because we are in shock right now. We're still trying to close our mouths. Our mouths have been open. They have not been closed, given the result we had yesterday. right? So when you say we're going to be shocked, is it good shock or bad shock? In fact, I don't think this team can shock us in a Copa. Meaning from a bad perspective, because and maybe it's a good thing they did what they did. So maybe our expectations are low going up to Copa, so they can only increase given how we play in Copa. All right, so far as a producer mixing and recording, are you in Jamaica or New York? Because I've been thinking about profession change. I retired more recently, right? And I'm thinking about things I need to do. I've taken up this podcasting, but I've always asked the question of people, which is this: is it that the people who are artists, not singers, because singers are unique talent, but DJ, I call them dub poet DJ. Is it that they're just so good, or other people didn't pursue those disciplines? I've always asked myself that question. Is it that those people just pursue that endeavor and others didn't, or they just have some unique talent? I would love to know this. And I've heard different stories about this. So I think each of us in life should explore different things, and you'd be surprised some skills you have which you never thought you did. So anyway, it should be interesting. Langza said the embarrassment that was on will always be a shocker to me. Yeah, it's here's an interesting thing about yesterday's game, people. We won 3-2, but there's no way you can convince me that the penalty was a penalty. No way. I think that's one of the worst calls I've ever seen in football. Now, I hear other people saying it's a penalty and, Cranky, you're being too critical. That's not a penalty. The person's head is down, their head down, their hand was down there. How could that be a penalty? If that was happening to us against another team, we'd lose our minds. So without the penalties, 2-2, no one could say you missed a lot of chances. Well, they were missed. This goal was given to us, that penalty. It was not a penalty. So, no, Nitro. I said earlier, Nitro, that Panama and Jamaica have been the two disappointing teams in this round, actually, of playoff. I think Panama is getting beaten at home, given how they're playing. They're winning, but people are not impressed. And there's some communication in the media that their coach is under pressure. Because obviously they lost to us in the Nations League, and even though they're winning their 2 games and didn't play anybody that great, people are not impressed with them at all. And if you think about this region, the 4 teams are Costa Rica, Panama, Honduras, and Guatemala. Those are the teams that you truly expect to be up there, actually, and be just dominating until we get to the last round, and that's not happening. So, and by the way, people, the call-in number is on the screen, and I made some adjustment to my system, so hopefully it works now. So you can call and see if it works. I don't have to put people on speaker. I did test it last night, and it suggests it works, so we'll see if it does work. So if you want to call into the numbers on the screen, 347-728-8625, and this number is strictly for this channel, so hopefully it works. So it'll be interesting to see. Tougher Rudy says, it'll be interesting to see what the Copa squad looks like. Bella has been out with injury for a while. Is he match fit? Well, he had surgery. I doubt Amari Bella's going to be fit, right? He has surgery, so I don't see him recovering. I think Pinnock probably should be okay. He had an ankle injury, which kept him out for a while. I'm sure he didn't want to aggravate it, and he wanted to play in Copa. But I can't see Amari Bell recovering in time. I'm not sure left back is the biggest challenge for us, actually. I think Greg Lee has been that's the one position on the field where I think we have adequate cover, right? Lati can play over there. Bell plays there. Greg Lee plays there. So I don't think that's an issue at left back. We have other pressing needs, as everyone keeps saying, which is in the middle of the park. And that needs to be fixed, and fixed quickly. So now just saying, Dominican team played Guatemala away and a ton of issues in flight and accommodation. Nitro, that only worsened the situation we had with them, because if they played away and came back, and I heard they got home, we got there before they did, and they still gave us a run. I didn't think they were a great team. We had a discussion on the scene yesterday, and I asked him the question as to could the JPL teams beat this team, and he thought they could only beat 2 JPL teams who were the bottom team. So from his perspective, he didn't think that they were that good a team. And I don't think they were that great either. I just think we didn't play well. And I think we had enough talent on the field to really put them away. Now, we missed a lot of chances, right? And we'll go to the players and maybe revisit some of their ratings and all that. But I didn't think that we played. We played. There's a lot that we didn't do. I'm tired of 2 center forwards. We played too slow. Some players just need to improve. The middle of the park is a challenge. I don't know what the coach's strategy is. There's a lot of different things, and I get a lot of grief from people about some of the things that I say. What I thought was good yesterday, I thought the youngsters were decent, even though Dixon missed a ton of goals. I thought Anderson and Dixon did well. If I was thinking about players who you could call out, and there are some other players who didn't do as well, who were disappointing, given how they played previously or what their pedigrees are. And the one I'll call out is Cephas, for example, who I was praising the game before, and then he disappointed yesterday. Very disappointing. So my hope is that as we progress in the next 2 weeks, all the players will come in and it'll be a different situation. Right now, I was left puzzled yesterday. So Nitro says, do you think the poor pitch had anything to do with the missed chances? No, Nitro, because you look at the chance we missed, Nitro. So the ones that stand out, so the header to Dixon, which came quickly, but it wasn't like he had to jump high and he headed it straight and he had to head it down. So that's not the pitch. The one he kicked wide from the right when he got in, I don't think that's a pitch. The one he hit against the post, he picked his corner. I don't think that was a pitch. So yeah, the pitch looked like it's about a cricket field, a football field, a cow pasture, whatever it is. I don't know. Not to belittle the field, but it wasn't the greatest pitch, but we both have to play on it, right? It's like playing in Jamaica sometime when our pitch is not the greatest. I thought here's my disappointment in the team, actually. And we got to be very conscious of this. We are not creating chances through build-up play. You look at the 3 goals we scored. One was a gift penalty we got. There was a ball over the top where the defense misjudged, headed on to Nicholson, frankly. The third one was the one by Dixon scores a good goal, right? Good pass by Cephas. Dixon got rid of his man and scored. So we scored 1 goal that we sort of created out of the 3, even though one may say Greg Lee's ball over the top was meant for one of his forwards, but it wasn't the greatest. Now, we got a lot of chances, but how many goals did we spend when we know what? We break the defense down and create a chance. No, there's a cricket pitch. You look on the field, actually, Kawani, there are 2 pitches on that field. You look at it again. Go back and look at it. I think they play cricket on the pitch. They have to, because if you look at the pitch, there are 2 brown spots where look like there are pitches, actually. That's why I call it a cricket field. And our pitch, the last game we played at the office or the stadium, whatever you want to call it, Lowe said the pitch was good until the rain fell and dug it up somewhat. So he thought the pitch was good. So you can't necessarily blame the pitch for how we played against Dominican Republic. I think they just played better than us, actually. So I don't think so. So Big D is asking, this one. What section would Jamaican fans be at? Mexico versus Jamaica? I don't know. Good question, everyday living. I'm not going to the games. I mean, I should go, but I'm not going. As I said to people a lot of times, I'm not the biggest. I fly sometimes, but not all the time, and I don't feel like flying in the summer. So I'll find out, because I know AQ and a bunch of other people are going to those games. In fact, AQ goes to almost every single game. I'm sure he probably was in Jamaica with Errol and those guys who we hung out with back in Texas. But I'll find out, and next time I come on, I did actually. You know what? I'm going to check my phone and come back to you on that. Not later in the program tomorrow, because AQ did give me the location where they're going to be sitting, actually. So I have my phone on my phone someplace. Good evening. You're on Cranky Live. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, man. Vinsky again.
Vinsky. So people, 1 second, Vinsky. Can you hear Vinsky? Because him sound good in my ears. Tell me if you can hear him. Him sound good. It sound loud. It sound clear. I mean, make We put enough engineering work. We set up my phone. So people tell me if you can hear Vinsky.
Yeah, man. Loud and clear. What? Mic check.
Mic check. Yeah, mic check. People tell me if you can hear Vinsky. Come in, I see nobody clicking and say them can hear Vinsky, you know. And people, yes, them can hear. So you know what? It's fixed. So the engineering thing work. Vinsky, the floor is yours. Before you go, Vinsky, people, we have 68 people watching. We only have 62 likes now, people. We need to subscribe, like, if no one me talk on the mic. Even though I'm not DJ. So go on, Vinsky.
All right, let me borrow the mic a little bit of my DJ my song. I'm cranky.
Do your thing. Maybe you have some skills.
No, man. Well, happy you got the engineering aspect. Really called to make sure that everything is working out.
Yeah, it work. Yeah, I invest in all of this, so it actually does work. It's not new, so thanks.
Yeah, man. It's a few times I call now. I had a few difficulties, but we gave you a pass because you're new to this. Well, new to the space and having your own channel. So
yes.
You a pass.
Yeah.
I still going to reiterate about what I said yesterday after the game. We created chances. Even from the build-up, that ball that went over to Shamar and you thought he was offside. That wasn't offside.
True. Yeah. Okay. I thought it was offside. I thought yes, but it may not have been. Yes, I missed that one.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Ball get another build-up play. I know I'm not beating him, but he's a part of why we didn't score as much goals because he was playing foul. Can he kick the ball wide on the post? Shamar, we wasted too many opportunities yesterday. No, the pitch, you can say neither team played fluid yesterday. If we can agree on that.
Well, no. The question is, can Dominica play fluid? Is there any such thing as a fluid Dominica? That's the question. They got 6 in Guatemala. It can't be that fluid.
Fair enough, but maybe they can play a little bit more fluid than what they exemplified yesterday on that pitch. Right. I mean, look in the middle of the park. If that was our national stadium, I'm sure we'll be beating JFF and whoever is responsible for the stadium. No?
True.
So we're not going to on that pitch. I don't think you can get that. The ball is bouncing all over the place. You're not going to get that fluidity. And they tried. I mean, yes, would like to have some more forward pass. I saw Karai Anderson, or T-Roy Anderson. He attempted. They didn't connect, but he was trying. Casey Palmer, first game back. Since his last a little while for us, so I think we can get it. We'll get it a little bit better in certain areas. But with that said, we have to finish our chances. We can't be even against in the Copa we're going to play against better opponents, and we're not going to create all these chances against them. So if we get 2-3 chances, we have to bury them. We have to find the back of the net.
Right. I don't disagree that we need to take our chances, and we missed some big chances yesterday. But with teams like Dominica, who got 6 from Guatemala, that's how I gauge some of these things. We watch them play and say they're not a very good team. The question for us is, shouldn't we just dominate and run them off the park? That's the question. Are we expecting too much?
If your company did Guatemala play their full strength squad, we don't know. I don't know. I didn't watch that game. Okay. I mean, come on. I mean, if the likes of Gray, Bailey, Antonio, Pinnock, Amari Bell, our original keeper in the goal, would it still be 3-2 with those chances?
We can speculate that it probably wouldn't.
Right,
but we don't know. We can yeah, but I don't want to go. I have said this yesterday. A team like we have never had the entire team together in any window, frankly, given our players are so dispersed.
Right.
So we have to expect that we have to have sufficient quality in the reserves, so when they get the opportunity, it's reflected in their play on the field.
Well, true, and to be fair to the coach, I hear what you're saying, and I can give you that. But to be fair with the coach, he has a couple of objectives on his hand. First is to win the game and get the 3 points. Right? We can agree on that.
Yes.
Next
we can
thing,
agree
he has to. Okay, great. Next thing, we have a big competition starting on the 22nd of this month. So he has to save some of his players to keep them fresh for that game. Can we agree on that?
Yes, no, we can't agree on that. So why can't I agree on that? The most important thing is, look, we already got our $2 million for Copa America. All right.
Okay.
We calculate money already.
Money pre in advance.
Yeah, we have advanced. We're not getting more money. We had advanced ticket sales.
Come on, be more positive than that.
No, let me just say this.
No, man, be a little bit more, man. Concacaf, believe, man. I'm not going to make it slide on that.
Vinsky,
you cannot write us off on the tournament that we've started, Concacaf.
Vinsky, come on. Vinsky, may I already allocate time for World Cup 2026, Vinsky. We don't want nobody messing with World Cup. So I want my best team to play World Cup qualifiers and score the most goal possible and give me the best chance to play less opponents when I get to second round and third round. We don't want not mess with that. And now, don't mess with
it. But you follow, to chime in on that, you follow the Jamaica team. I've seen you go into a lot of the games.
Right.
You know that most of these English players, them season just finished out of day.
No. We agree with all of that. We agree with all of that.
Right. Yeah. So you have to literally roll the dice. And to be fair, do we really, as we can see, we really didn't need the full strength squad. Again, like I said yesterday, if we capitalize on, say, 50% on all the chances that we miss, we'd have a scoreline of at least 6-7.
But they could have scored 2 or 3 too, right? They could have scored 3 or 4 too, right?
Totally different.
But they could have scored 3 or 4 too, right? They had opportunities too. Not a ton like we did, but they had a few.
Come on, man. No, sir. Not clear. Not so much clear chances.
Not like how we. No. Look.
The one goal. The one goal that I'll give them is a free kick.
You know what, Vinsky, let's go back. You just mentioned that if the players with the pedigree and the better reputation were here would score those goals. You remember when we played, was it Canada in Jamaica? Mm-hmm. Yes. And how many goals we missed in that game?
The early but come on.
Wait. By a player with pedigree. Vinsky, you can't have it. What no Vinsky? You can't have it. What is the player had pedigree, is playing phenomenal for his club team, and he was missing same goals Dixon was missing, frankly. So
but that said player had weeks after that and months after that been scoring incredible goals for his club team.
Yeah, but the player has played. Yeah, but Vinsky, the player has played 30 games for Jamaica, and I've been asking people this, and they not come back to me on this. Please tell me one game for Jamaica where the players had an exceptional game. Just one out of 30. Now that's a ton of games, and you have pedigree, and you're playing against opponents in this region who are not the best in the world, as we know. See some of the and when does the player has a phenomenal game?
I think he played phenomenal and good.
Okay, excellent.
It's all relative.
Let's use excellent. Let's say excellent game. Excellent game.
And excellent is all relative either. I think, for me personally, most of the games for me, yes, he can. In the early part, he kind of held on to the ball a little bit, more than he should. But overall, I like what he brings to the team. He plays to his strength, where he draws at least 2-3 defenders with him and makes it easier for everyone else. I just love the attacking line with Gray on the left, the said player Bailey, let me call his name, on the right, Bobby Reed in the attacking link, and then either Shamar or whatever can play on the last. I really love that. And unless we can find a player and that can bring that kind of threat, we have to have him in the team.
No. Look, I'm not saying the player should be. No.
Directly.
Vinsky,
if he was there yesterday, that said player that you're alluding to, if he was there yesterday, he would have put those in the back of. He would have put those in the back of the net. No doubt about it.
So only I say about it, that is this. Go watch a Canada game again. Go watch a Canada game. The ball that was kicked out on the left, the ball on the right that hit the corner, come over, hit the post. In fact, you know what? I'm having nightmares about that because I remember those goals, those misses.
But all of the phenomenal and excellent players, they have bad games.
Well, some people have bad international careers. They have phenomenal club careers.
But you can't separate the two.
No, you have
what
to.
We can agree on.
You don't have to.
What we can agree on, though, Cranky. What we can agree on is the players' immense talent. Can we agree on that?
Yes, we can agree on that. Yes.
So there is something clearly came out and express his frustration. So instead of let's figure out what is it that we can get the best out of the player.
No, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. The point I'm trying to make though is that the player has not produced when he has played for his country. But this discussion,
because there are things in the background clearly that is affecting him from because we have no doubt of which we just agreed on that he should and can deliver for us. But there's things he's not playing with a clear mind. When you watch him playing for his club team, he looks fluid. He looks like he's enjoying the game. He looks stress-free. He's just out there enjoying the ball game. When he's playing for us, it doesn't seem like he has that freedom.
But here's the thing. I would buy the argument about the player not being settled if we didn't have other players, some of who may have not even the same pedigree, but playing the same league, not as familiar with Jamaica as that player is. And I've talked to some of those players. Some of them have some of those same challenges, but they produce on the field.
Right, but those guys don't carry the same weight as this player.
Okay. I hear you. No, look, I don't want this to be about that player because I promised myself when I have my channel, I will not focus on this player. So I'm going to change the discussion, Vinsky. Because the player didn't play yesterday. He didn't play yesterday. Right.
But we're looking ahead, right? He didn't play. A lot of players didn't play yesterday, and what we need, and I think what affected the game also, the third thing, because I said it was three things. First was win the game. And I forgot what I said about the second. And the third thing, I saw where the coach, I mean, ambitious, and you have to give him that. He's trying some of these players that he has in the team. Because, 70 something minutes in, 3-0 down, he thought, he had the game in the bag. So he's experimenting with some of these, JPL players, some of these younger players in the team. Give them a chance to see what is a better option, because he's not going to have another window to do this.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Look, I don't blame the coach for those changes. Actually, I didn't beat the coach about changes. I beat the coach about what I call. I'm being very careful with my word. You know, me like here. Lack of strategy. Lack of strategy is what I beat the coach about. Me not say the strategy.
But all we know that with these players that he brought in, he didn't gave them the appropriate instruction, but they failed to execute it when they went. Because for me, I saw a lot of individualism out there. A lot of players trying to catch the eye of the coach, not passing the ball over, dribbling too much, trying to, make a name for themselves to be called in the Copa America squad.
Yeah, look, and if you're a player, you're gonna feel that pressure, right? And rightly so. You should feel the pressure. You should want to perform. You should want to excel. I have no problem with that. Unfortunately, for some player,
the team performance though.
No. No. It should. Here's why it shouldn't. Because if you're playing individual game, yes. If you go on there, get the ball and pass it, and create space and do what you're supposed to do as a footballer, no, you should be producing. If you go out there like one player, see come on and trying to dribble through three people, losing the ball, then you're gonna embarrass yourself.
But that's look at what Cephas was doing, and then that wasn't a pitch to dribble on. Every time he tried to dribble, the ball is fumbling all over the place.
Well, that's Cephas' game, right? I mean,
even the other guy that came on, what's his name? That came on for him on the left wing. He came on and did the same exact thing.
Yeah, I've seen him play. I watch him play up close. I watch him play up close. I think he played against Guatemala and the Netherlands and New Jersey. I will admit I wasn't overly impressed, right? I don't want to criticize the kid because I haven't seen him played enough. But I watch him saying, I think he still needs a lot of work. So yeah, he came on. He didn't overly impress me either. He came on against Dominican Republic, didn't he? And he that's a ball. Cephas should have passed the ball to him. They didn't pass it, and he came on this game. So the coach must like him. Must be doing something in training.
No. It was Kaheem Dixon. Cephas held the ball too long, and Kaheem.
I thought that was Beckford. You sure it was Kaheem? Maybe you're right.
It was Kaheem.
Okay.
It was Kaheem Dixon. Yeah.
So maybe I have my players wrong. But I did see Beckford in Guatemala acted against you. Guatemala and New Jersey.
Fair enough. But overall, am I super happy, with the display yesterday. No. But, I'm somewhat contented. With a few players. I want Keyroy to, is the future. I want him to be a little bit more aggressive out there. Palmer need to get with the pace of the game. Not bad. Who else is out there?
So
Shamar need to be more clinical in front of the ball. Shamar need to be, as our top striker, you need to put away those chances.
Yeah, the one that Shamar missed was, look, I wasn't a footballer, but I did miss a chance. I think Freddie Butler always give me a hard time about that. He gave me a ball like that in the Bronx. And you know what happened to the ball? You're trying to be so no, he gave me. He talks about it all the time. He's known on this channel. He talked about it. So
I live in New York, so I used to play the
Bronx League, right? I used to play the Bronx League.
Okay.
So he gave me a pass. It's a true pass. The ball bounced brilliantly to Shamar. Now you're trying to be so perfect in putting the ball over the keeper's head and in the corner, but you misjudge the weight of when you make the kick, and he's trying to just lob it over the keeper. I'm not a professional. He is, so I'll beat him about it. He should score that, but I can understand how he missed it too. So, except his miss was better than mine because I put it in the keeper's hand. The keeper went up.
The difference is a contracted player.
He's a contracted footballer. I'm not actually. I'm not a footballer, so I can't. But no, Freddie always give me a hard time about that because every time I get Freddie, he reminds me. He was in the finals, by the way. It wasn't like it was regular season. Go ahead.
Right. And by the way, that wasn't his only option because he was one-on-one with the keeper. I understand that he committed to lobbing it, but that wasn't the only option.
No, I think the lob was the right play, but at his level and his ability, he should score. He should score.
As a striker, yeah, man, that's supposed to be dropping in the back of the net. No doubt about it.
So which player have I beaten? Pristine? I don't know what player Pristine. I don't beat players. I comment on things they don't do well. I don't like the word beat. Bless up Ishmael. People, if you just come in, you see the people who come in later on now, hit the like button and subscribe because other people who come in before I had more likes than personal watching. So please hit the like button when you come in and hit the subscribe button. So go ahead, Vince. Sorry.
No, man. Just to wrap it up, because I'm really looking forward to the squad to drop this week. And but the next thing too, what I'm using to gauge from before I move on. The post match interview with John Wall, that's his name.
Yeah,
John Wall, right? He didn't seem happy. He really didn't seem. He seemed very perplexed with the display of the team. So it seemed like instructions were given, and the players didn't fulfill those instructions. With that said, though, I'm looking forward to the squad being dropped this week. I'm looking forward to the Copa America. I think we're going to do something to surprise you, Cranky, because you seem like you already write them off before the tournament even starts.
You know what? The team that drops will give me perspective as to where I think we're going to come out. I want to see the team. Because I don't know who's coming in and who's going out. Yes.
To be fair, you live in I think you live in the tri-state area, or maybe
I live in the tri-state. Yes.
You live in the tri-state. So do I. I went to watch the Ecuador Italy friendly. I think it was a month and a half ago.
Right.
And Ecuador didn't look all that great, to be honest.
Okay. Did they have all the players?
Maybe one. Their star player was injured. Maybe one player.
Who's that? Caicedo?
Yeah, Caicedo wasn't there.
Okay.
Outside of that, they didn't look that overly impressive.
No. Well,
so I think that's an opportunity there, for us to get. Who else is in the zone in our group? Mexico and who else? Ecuador, Mexico,
and Venezuela, who drew with Brazil in Brazil. So even though the country has had their problem, their football team seems to be able to run all day and they're able to play decent, right? The country is exporting people like they export products.
Yeah.
And yet their footballers are still doing well, actually. So, yeah.
Well, they still have some oil money, So.
Well, no, the U.S. has restricted the ability to sell oil money. That's another story for another day.
And
by the way, people, all you in the chat, because I'm gonna start in the next 2 months. I'm starting a channel which is gonna be, I won't say what the name is now, but it's gonna be a social channel. So It's going to be, I call it my Get in Trouble channel, actually. So I hope everybody, yeah, that's what I'm really going to be beating. I'm not going to beat Jamaican athletes.
You don't get enough channel trouble on this channel already.
No. I'm light on this. I'm so nice on this channel. I am like a quiet boy on this channel. You have no idea. When that channel starts, you're going to be like, I cannot believe that. And by the way, it won't be Cranky in that channel. It'll be somebody else. So okay. I'm assuming different personalities. Ego. It's a different personality.
Another alter ego.
Yeah, okay. It's an alter. Yes. A real alter ego this time.
Okay. All right, but let me save it a spot for someone else. But keep up the good work and have some faith in the team, Cranky man. You can't make. I think like we're having too much whiplash. We play good, we get like a hope. One.
Vinsky. Mm-hmm. Let me say this before you go. You know, when you rank in your 50s, you've been doing well. You play Nations League, you got watch it, you look good. You should have beat the US, frankly, except for just hard luck, beat the US. And then you compete
with a less, with a lot of.
We ain't good enough. We ain't good enough. Defensively, we don't ever play defense. We don't play defense again. We should have win the game. We beat Panama, right? Probably don't win the tournament. Actually, we were playing.
Right. So we gave them credit. Continue.
All right. And then you can play the number 150 something ranked team. And the number 180 something ranked team. And you struggle against the 150 ranked team and you barely beat the other team. So I'm gonna get optimistic. And then me said this player now come on, this player now. I'm gonna get optimistic. Tell me, Vinsky. Get me out of my misery.
Wait. You already learned that players are going to be missing for the Copa America?
Well, the baller who we talked about a while ago say he's not sure he's gonna come play, right? He's taking time off. So he's one player who everybody thinks is,
Well, hopefully, they fix things, and it's our baller. It's plural, not my baller. Our baller.
I'm struggling to say our baller.
You support Jamaica,
and by the way, people, here's another thing too. If I call out players, I get grief, no matter where they're from. So I call out Antonio. I thought Antonio should be taken off against Dominican Republic, and people are. I said, this and that. People are my prerogative. Call out
but you have to put that in perspective, though, Cranky. Reason being, because the coach, we want to see Antonio playing on the last defender. It seemed to me he was playing like top link. He was playing out of position. That's not his role.
Yeah, I don't
when
like
the ball come across, I want to see him in the box.
Here's another thing too, Vinsky. Here's another thing, Vinsky. People don't understand, which is I listen to other streams and other programs. Especially like Talk Sports. You know how much beaten certain coaches get, even when the team might do well, beaten. Right? If someone was talking today about which team it was, Leicester, and they just got promoted to the Premier League. And they got promoted. And the thing we were talking about is their style of play, a system of play, and people are upset that they're not playing attractive football. Football today is entertainment. We don't just want to win the game and sit and be bored to death. Then I can go play Ludo. Or go play dominoes or something. Why am I watching you play football? You have to look. We want our team to be dominant against lesser opponent. We don't want to be just scraping back against lesser opponent. So when people push back on us and say you're too critical, you're trying to beat the coach if you go, I'm saying if I look at the coach and what he has done, he's been here. He's gotten positive results. His record is fine. Given the competition, you can't deny that. But I still don't know what system you're playing, what style we have. I'm still struggling with playing two center forward when most teams don't do so. It's my prerogative to feel that way.
Right. Well, let's see. He said this is a good opportunity for where he's going to have the players for a good stretch of time, like a month. Most of the time, the players come into camp. It's 2 days, maybe a day and a half worth of practice. So let's see what we can get out of him having the players for a substantial amount of time.
Vinsky, every international coach have the same scenario. What do you want to call it?
No, but this is this is not fabricated though. It's fact.
No. I know, but I'm just saying he's been with the team for September is 2 years.
But every single time the players he has gotten them. Remember how he started with the Argentina game? He was just thrown in. And
he had a bunch of time when they were in Texas. He had a bunch of time they were in Texas. He had a month.
Where in Gold Cup? But
in Nations League, Nations League he had a couple of weeks, didn't he?
Yeah, but we look better in the Nations League. No,
we look better defensively. And people gotta understand the game is played two ends, right? There's three parts of the game: offense, defense, and set pieces. Set pieces, we're fine because we're not giving up goal on set pieces like we used to. Even though we have 5'5" Mexicans out jumping 6'3" Jamaicans, we have seemed to find a way to manage the set pieces. Defensively, even though some people challenge me on the defensive part, but I think we have done okay defensively. Offensively, I think we're challenged because of the strategy we're employing.
I just feel as if when we have the Demarigui, the Bailey, the Bobby Reed playing in his right position, Antonio playing on the last defender, we look way more fluid. Where we need work on is in the center of the park, and I think we have to use 3 midfielders there.
Right.
We're definitely, but make we say I'm a little, well, not even that. I'm a lot more optimistic than you, Cranky. And as a supporter of the team, and I've seen you flowing all over the place. Come on, man.
I see the glass half full enough. So you have to see with me. I don't see the glass. You see the glass half empty. I see it half full. Not just for football, by the way. Enough things in life. I see it half empty. Because I try to manage disappointments. I'm gonna see it half empty. So maybe I need to lighten up actually.
Yeah, man. And we can't have these big swings with emotionally. We win one game, all right, cool. Then we lose a game. Well, we didn't even lose. We won a game, but not in the fashion or in the style that we, want to see. But you would think on our space that we lost the game.
No, but Vinsky,
we actually won the game.
Vinsky, here's what we do, Vinsky, as fans, which is right, I think. We project out, right? So I'm gonna take my competition. I'm gonna assess how we did against them. I'm projecting them to the future opponents. And I'm saying, how would we compare and how would we do? And frankly, given the last set of performances, you would say, well, how would we do against Guatemala, Honduras, Costa Rica, Panama? We would not be feeling well. And even more so now.
But in recent years, we have beaten Guatemala.
No, but here's the thing, though. Often. But we're talking about recent performance, right? Recent performances.
Yeah, Panama I'm talking about. Is in the Panama we just beat them.
We beat them in Nations League. Yes, we did beat them in Nations League. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, we beat them in Nations League.
Wasn't it like 3-1 or 3 something like that? What was the score?
I forgot this, and I was there. I forgot the score.
So it was right,
but it was a third place game. Yes,
3-1.
It was a third place game.
And I'm sure you were encouraged by that because going into that game, a lot of people were concerned.
Yeah, I think if you're a Jamaican fan, you just have to hold on to the whatever you're in. If you're in a car, train, hold on real tight because it's going to be a bumpy ride. So you will be happy 1 second and they're going to hit a big speed bump.
So, So make we agree on this to wrap it up. We just want to see more consistency out of the team.
Here's what we want. Consistency, but you got to break down consistency. We want consistency. No, here's what I'm saying. So I could have consistency winning, but I'm not playing good football. Right. That's consistency. People should be happy with that. We want consistency in a lot of areas.
But we're talking about no. You know what? Okay, if you want to,
yes, we want consistency in terms of not just outcomes but performances. Yes,
of course. Okay, fair enough. Yes. And I agree with you on that. But it's gonna take a little while to get there. It's gonna take a little while. We just have to be a little bit patient. But so far, at least we're getting the results. Now we just need to get the style of play to be on par with the results, the positive results. Right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, all right, and I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there. I'm positive about it.
I hope so.
Oh God, man! I thought we were making some stride, and you being a little bit more positive.
I hope so.
You regret that quick stride.
I hope so. I hope so. I can't say I'm optimistic. But I'm gonna watch.
Well, like what El Gringo comment is there saying, the farmer El Gringo,
El Granjero, yes.
El Granjero, the farmer. That's the thing we definitely need to fix, and I alluded to this yesterday. We definitely play to the level of our opponent. If the opponent is good, we step our game up. If the opponent is poor or not up to par, we'll lower our performance to match theirs. So I think the team definitely need a killer instinct. No matter who, if the team treat every team as if they're the USA or the Mexicos or the Panamas or the 80s. You understand? Or Trinidad, which is our rival. Treat them the same and go there with a killer instinct, and I'm sure we'll have a better result. But anyway, big up on your show. I've taken up enough time, Cranky.
No, I appreciate you calling in, actually. I appreciate you calling in.
And I'm happy you sort out your technical issues.
All right.
Yeah. Again soon.
All right. Thanks for calling, Vinsky. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Every time. Cool.
So, people, that was Vinsky. Good discussion, actually. Vinsky sees the glass half, well, 3/4 full. I see the glass 1/4 full at this point. I'm hoping to meet him halfway. So maybe he'll level down his enthusiasm and I'll level mine up and we'll get to a big place, a good place, actually. So if you want to call in, the number is running across the screen. It's 347-728-8625. Where we transition from talking about basketball and cricket to talking about football. We always come back to the Jamaica national team and how they're playing. But I think someone was mentioning that Chelsea hired the Leicester coach because of how they played. Listen to Flex today talking to the Liverpool supporter who was on Talk Sports, what they were talking about, which is during the season, people were concerned about how Leicester was playing, not just about their result. At one point, they had some hiccups along the way, even though they end up finishing at the top of the league, them in Ipswich. But they were concerned about their style of play because I know you're saying that's why Chelsea hired him. Maybe he got more practical along the way to get results because they were struggling at one point. But people nowadays are very focused on how you play, not just what outcome you have. Bless up Coach's Desk, my YouTube teacher, I call it. It was Minzy. Thanks for joining. People, we have 85 people in the chat. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please, I'm trying to get my subscribers numbers up, and they've been good for most of the week, but been slow the last couple of days. So, yeah, we appreciate you doing so. And I know people are saying, Cranky, sometimes you're too negative in it because the team won both games. And I was talking to a friend of mine today. He was saying, well, the outcome has been positive. We won. Isn't that what people should focus on? I don't disagree that you should focus on winning, but how you play is also important. It can't just be, you know what? Do you win? How you play is very, very important. So, and we can't not appreciate that. Now, this were the scores yesterday for the players, at least who sort of finished the game here in some respects. And not finished the game, but players who played yesterday. King didn't start. But this is from SofaScore. And you can see some of these scores. My philosophy is this. The quality of the opponent should affect what score you give a much better team. So you can see, CFA's got a 6.7. He didn't have a 6.7 game. Nicholson's got an 8.7. He didn't have an 8.7 game. Kahim had a 7.6. I thought Kahim, apart from his missed chances, played really, really well. But you can't separate the missed chances from the overall performance. And he had about 5 chances. He put away 1. 1 of 5 is not good. You got to do better, even though he's young. He's only 19. He hasn't played at this level a lot. I think the kid has a lot of potential, but he's got to score more. So just look at these numbers and tell me if you agree with them, actually. Do you agree with the numbers here, which seem to indicate that we played well and that the team played well, when a lot of people are saying, this doesn't cut it for me. We're not happy with this. We're not happy with how we played. We're not happy with the outcome. We should have scored a lot more goals, and we didn't. You tell me what your view is on this, actually. Somehow I messed up here. So at the end of the day, I don't think that we were that great, frankly. Let me pull this back up. I don't think we were that great yesterday. And, some people are questioning the coach. Some people are questioning the coach. What are your views on the coach, people? Are you satisfied with the coach? Are you comfortable with the coach and what he's doing? You're comfortable with the strategy that he's deploying or employing? You comfortable with how we're playing? You comfortable with playing with 2 forwards up top? And do you think that is what we should deploy going forward? Do you want to see Antonio Nichols up front, or you want to see a more traditional, to me, midfield, actually, than what we have? So I'll take this off the screen for now. What's your view on that? I don't know why I have the Celtics here. What is your view on that, people? Are you comfortable with how we're playing at the moment? Or you think that we should do something different? Let me move this away from here. So I'm curious, people, to hear your perspective on this. What should we be doing when it comes to this? Do you think we need to change something, have something different? My system is stuck on me here. People, you can call into the number before I try to take this off. You can call into the number. I'd appreciate it. If you call in, the number is 347-728-8625. So please call in. I appreciate if you do so. Would love to have you. My system here is stuck. I can see I'm still learning. My system was messing up, people. I apologize for that. So, but tell me what your thoughts are about the coaching, actually. You think what we're doing is working or not working? Somehow I messed up a while ago trying to clear my screen here. But tell me what your views are on the coach, because I am not totally happy with the coach and his performance. So what are your views? And I've been told I should get over it because we're getting outcomes, we're getting results. So he said the coach is learning about the team, but how long does it take El Granjero for one to learn about the team? We are, what? He's almost 2 years into his tenure. Some coaches don't even get 2 years, right? So isn't September, I think, becomes 2 years. I think that's when we took over and played Argentina. Isn't that enough time? Does he need more time? Does he need more time than what he's done now to say he's comfortable with the team? He's been with these players. You know, if you look at the team, a lot of players have been here for a little while now. The defense, the midfield, the offense, it's similar players. We have one or two players coming in and out, but it's the same players actually. It's not like we are in a situation where we have new players coming in every single window, a lot of new players, 2, 3, 4 players. No. Look at the team. Lowe, Bell, Greg Lee, Blake, Lambakisa, Gray. You may have one or two people, Anderson, Palmer, maybe the Nick Dixon are new. I know for this last window, we had a few local developed players like Marshall who came in. But for the most part, we have a consistent group of players. We probably have in every window maybe 13 to 16 players who are regulars. And then we may flip some players in and out. And we've had a few injuries and personal issues with players that can't come in. So from where I sit, I don't see it being wholesale changes in the team why we don't have familiarity, frankly. Obviously, the coach can't play the same players every single game. But yeah, here's my biggest disappointment, people. The players who play at the highest level. So let's think about the Premier League. Bobby Reed, Antonio, Leon, who else? Maybe a Maribel and Pinnock are not always in the window, but those players you would expect performances up and above what we get from everybody else, actually. on a more consistent basis. Right? And I don't think we're seeing that of those players. I'd expect those players to produce. Now, and I've said this numerous times, we had Gray come into the team, and he's being exceptional. Right? And you hear me ask questions about some players who've been with us. Antonio's never won, has never been on, as far as I know, been on the Concacaf team at the tournament. Antonio's been with us longer than Gray. Gray came in right away, hit the ground running, boom. Antonio has not been scoring goals for us. He just has not been. He scored great goals. He's not scored a lot of goals. He plays for West Ham. He plays regularly. He's been injured quite a bit over the last few years because of muscle injuries, but he's not putting the ball in the net. And I've said this, which is, at this point, frankly, I'd probably prefer Dixon or Nicholson to Antonio. And I've gotten a lot beaten for this, right? Because people say you're losing your mind. We're talking about, no football. But I look at production. They're both playing the same opponents, playing in the same similar team, not seeing outcome. And football is about goals and outcome. And we also want to see style of play and system of play. So I have a call coming in, people. Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
Great one. Yeah, speak to Shocker and the boss, man. Thank you. Big up.
Who am I speaking to?
Shocker and the boss.
Showa Curtain Boss. Now, can you give us some history of that name? I always love to hear people come up with their names. Showa Curtain Boss. Showa Curtain Boss. No. Okay, let me say this. Is it something that can be digested in a public forum, or is it something that we can't talk out loud about? Because, so we have to be very careful.
On the same program, and on coach's desk,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when the program just start up.
Yeah. You were on actually. You were on this program. Yes. Show us curtain boss.
The World Cup qualifiers and coaches that just come out.
Yes. That's way back when history there.
Yeah, but because the background, the two dark, well dark.
Oh, yeah. Yes. We had names of people.
This boss look like him then, I'm sure, man.
Yeah. We had names for a few people. Yes. That was in the day with some other people on that channel. Yeah. So thanks for calling. How are you doing today?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I'm happy to see you starting your own,
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks. Appreciate that. So, what do you say, Shower Curtain Boss? What you say?
Yeah, well, boy, me kinda. I'm glad so I get the win. Yeah, but me think the team was supposed to get them win here. Whether it's an ugly win,
okay, or
it's a, with the team we have. I'm expecting to beat certain teams, right?
Right.
So whether it's ugly or it's a pretty one. However, for some reason though, Cranky, the from the Canada game, I think the Canada game, the fighting spirit there, what I'm saying at the Canada game, I think gonna carry it over. I don't know what was the drive for that spirit there, that extra fight there, when I say. But when I see we carry it over consistently. Maybe brought it in the US match and the Panama match. But when I think we carry it over. And for some reason the midfield basically been around for the longest while now. I think the midfield players being consistent for over the period of Grimson's tenure so far. And boy, I don't know, but I still not see none where really, I still not see none.
Right. So what do you propose? What do you propose?
All right. I think with the players that we have, right, and seeing the 5-4-1 formation we played against US and Panama.
Right.
I think based on our strengths, we are good in defense and we have a lot of defenders, right? Center backs, and we are good in attack in terms of wingers and strikers. But the midfield area is short. I think we should play towards our strength. I don't think we are really playing towards our strength. And if you are going to a formation, I don't think the 4-4-2 works, right? If you are going to a defensive structure, I think the formation we played against US was really good in terms of defensive coverage. However, the attacking part was lacking. But I think in terms of defensive coverage, I think that formation is good. You know, I think with more work with the attacking in that formation, I think we don't get better based on our strengths. But I think this 4-4-2 thing, it's just not working, Kanki. I think it'll work, and I think we need to change from this two midfielder because even when we play against weaker opponents, for some reason they seem to move the ball better than us and dominate. For some reason.
Yeah,
So
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think we need to put 3 in the midfield instead of 2. I haven't seen a fully fit 4-2-3-1 formation since Guma really come in with players really, you know, I play them well because we still use makeshift persons at the midfield same way, you know.
Right.
So I think if we're using makeshift persons in the midfield here, I think we need to time that here with 3 inside instead of using this 4-4-2. Because what I've observed with this formation, right, and I've said it on Ryan Shore, Kanki. When we the first time we used it, right, we used it against when the coach just came against Argentina, right, and we didn't look bad. But when I look back on that game, there was a big difference. There was somebody in that midfield who could actually slow down the pace and actually kind of dictate. So even though whenever that defensive stability in the midfield with that 4-4-2 at the start when Grimsey came in, right? We had somebody who could literally control the midfield park and kind of slow it down and dictate the pace.
Right.
So it kind of look different, like so you know, like it worked. But then when that midfield, the person who can control the midfield, not there anymore, you see the lacking in that area. And they will start to be a makeshift person.
So Shara Boss, you haven't mentioned the person name in that midfield, man. You haven't mentioned him.
Rafael Morris.
Okay. You know, so we player. We have to mention we player because even in the beach, but on the yacht, I drink him martini and him champagne or whatever I drink. Him still better than who we are putting in the midfield. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. Ravel and DJ was playing the central midfielders in that 4-4-2 when they played against Argentina.
Right.
But he was basically dictating the game. So even though whenever that defensive stability, that we had somebody dictating it. But from Ravel leave the team, I don't see anybody else who take control of that midfield. Like I don't see anybody who really take control of that midfield. And I think with what we have now, if we're not going to use 3 in the midfield, then we need to try to use the formation we use against Panama and Canada and try work on the attack. Because our strengths are really in attack and defense. But I don't think this is working. Because when we're attacking in this formation, Cranky, it changed from a 4-4-2 to a 4-2-4, you know.
I think it's mainly 4-2-4 period, but that's just me. That's just me. I think we play 4-2-4. I get grieved that we're playing 4-2-3 when we're playing 4-1-3-2, whatever we come up with, and I'm like, that's not what I see. I see 2 midfielders playing against 3 and 4 midfielders sometimes. That's why when we play Canada, we were so outnumbered in midfield until Lowe went in the midfield and started creating havoc.
But Lowe was a surprise to them. That's the thing now in that match.
Yes.
Lowe was a surprise element. They weren't expecting that. It took them by surprise. They weren't expecting that.
Yeah, and that performance, look, people forgot in that game that Canada dominated the first half, and we give Lowe a lot of kudos, which he deserved, and I've said numerous times, most impactful performance by Jamaica football player I've ever seen. But in the first half, Blake was probably just as good because he made some phenomenal saves, right? Held us in the game. And we keep referring back to that. We do this like we talk about 98. We keep reverting back to these situations as the way to emphasize a point, and it's appropriate in some respects. But I don't. What I want to see is as Vinsky talked about before, is consistency of quality play, which is not something which is apparent most times.
Yeah, but Cranky, it kind of puzzles me. I'm wondering. All right, it's obvious that this coach, no matter where we want to say, we have seen it so far, that this coach is basically a defensive coach, right?
Right.
Because so far, looking at my team coach, it's mostly individual brilliance. You can count few times when the team actually had build up plays from defense to midfield to attack. It's always an individual brilliance. And if you check the last 2 matches, coach, Sir can give it to the
no,
last
I want to be the
matches,
coach.
right?
No, call me coach. I want to be the coach.
Yeah.
Me too, we can't do as good a job as the coach.
If you check the last 2 matches, coach, let's be fair, Frankie.
Yeah.
The match against Dominica Republic, right? I went and watched that match. And the only person who really looked like they wanted to progress the ball, even though it was selfish at times, was Cephas.
Right.
To be fair, it was Cephas. And if you checked it, Cephas was the individual brilliance in that match that got us the win.
Yeah.
And he also got us a penalty and could have scored at least 2-3 goals. Had he not been a little bit too selfish, maybe would have scored another one.
Yeah.
But he was individual brilliance in that match. If you check the Dominica match now, Cranky, right? The first goal literally came from a defensive pass from what's his name? Gregory, right?
Yeah. Over the top. Is that
Yeah,
offensive? Is that pass forward over the top? Yes.
Pass over the top. A defender intercepted, reach Boza and try heading it back to the keeper. Then the other defender tried shielding off Boza, and he continued to store it around the defender in the goal. Right?
Well, I don't know where he was heading the ball. I thought he was trying to head it out and it skipped off his head and fell in Nicholson's path. So I'm not sure if he's trying to head it back or head it out, but he totally messed it up. But it wasn't really a play, which was yeah.
The second defender was trying to shield it so the keeper could get it.
Yeah. Wasn't the best play on their part. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you check the penalty, the one was a penalty. So really and truly the only build-up one where I would say was really the one with Dixon.
Wait, so back up, Showboss. Was that a true penalty or not? Did you agree with the penalty decision?
To tell you the truth, the commentator said it was a handed ball before the ball was head out, but when I see that part still.
I thought he had the ball on his hand.
Yeah, but just to the replay when the player had the ball.
Yeah, I thought he had the ball and it hit his hand. That's what I saw anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a penalty, but that's just me.
But when you look at the team, Cranky, see? I mean, we're getting the win. I mean, he's hired to bring us to the 2026 World Cup.
Right.
And we don't want to say it's the easiest part we have ever had in this longest while. That is his role. That is what is his main responsibility to get us to the World Cup. And so far, the campaign has started with 2 wins, which is good. We can't tell that from him. We've been beating some team that we are expected to beat, which is good, right? We get a quality result toward the year from Canada, who is one we consider growing into one of the top dogs. But that was not. I think that was a surprise element to Canada. I didn't think that was nothing much of a system. That was just a surprise element. And they went to USA again and surprised them again with the new formation that they weren't expecting. So again, I would have said that is really, a system per se. And then it caught Panama again. But where's the consistency? If we're working with that, Sir Cranky, right? If we say, all right, that's the thing that's working for us. So we try the 4-4-2-1. It's not all that, but we try this formation and so far it has worked on the big teams, right? We got few counters, the overlapping wing backs doing their jobs. If we're building on that, then where's the consistency?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Where's the consistency? And they will change now back to this 4-4-2. And then I hear a person saying that, boy, is a weaker team, man, is a weaker this. But the players that started, especially in the Dominica match, they have been around the coach. I know what the coach is looking for.
Yeah.
So it's either 2 things. It's either the players are not IQ are not good. It's either no football savvy that way there, or they are playing to the coach's instruction.
Right.
Because when you look on the field, as we are saying, Sir Cranks, right? We are saying though they say a 4-4-2, me I say a 4-2-4, right? And whenever the strikers, them, right, we play two of the same strikers, which doesn't make no sense. Because when you play the two same strikers, them, all them do a hold of the ball, and if a defender can pick them pocket, then that's it. There's a counter attack on us. Right?
Yeah.
But when the defender, we try to use two strong strikers who sit on the defense, right? No movement, them just sit down on the defense, and then the wingers try to push up to drive out the defense line further down. And then just sit there and then just sit there. No look at movement like when we have possession, the body a drop deep. No look at half the ball movement, no nothing. It's like we just sit there and I try to spread the team. And everybody just stagnant there like them become post now. So when the midfielders have the ball, when them do get the ball, it's like them not an option for pass. And sometimes the defenders have to bypass the midfielders to try to get it up top. And when them do bypass it and then the next team get it, it's like it's a next attack again and us.
So Shara Curtin, you don't think that's a strategy to play the ball up to either Antonio Nicholson? They flick it down for the other forward to run into it. Could that be part of the strategy? Or they play it up to them, they hold it up, and you have a linkage between the two, I call them the Titanics, the two big center forwards.
Sure. But that's what I'm thinking, that is the case, but I'm not seeing that. I haven't seen them getting the ball and laying it up that much as often as.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that. So I'm wondering now what is the situation. I don't know. Me watch a game against Dominica and I see the players them are dribble upon each other where two man can actually intercept them. One man can actually intercept two person and take the ball and gone. No movement. I don't know.
Well, I thought Dixon was moving quite a bit actually, because he was always present to get the ball, wasn't he? Dixon was always present to get the ball.
Yeah, but the thing is that Dixon is a totally different person from
True.
Totally striker from what's his name? Boza, which is good.
Yeah. Much smaller, much more diminutive, much quicker, much more fluid. Yeah.
Yeah, so at least him can run off Boza whenever Boza get the ball, right?
Right.
And his movements, him have good eyesight for good movements in terms of goal runs. He really have the eye, might have pop up in some spot where you're not expecting to pop up in, which is good. That's Dixon. So when you play two opposite striker, it kind of work there because you have one that can roam off one and if it work. But when you have two of the same type striker, I don't think it works for us.
No, I mean your perspective is one that I share, to be frank. I am not a supporter of two forwards up front. I keep referring to the game today and how game is played. 99% of teams don't play two forwards up front anymore. That was old football, 70s football, 80s football. The focus on football today is how do I dominate the middle? See people playing inverted. And you put more people when you play inverted, you put more people in the middle of the park than you put them out up top. Focus on your two center backs. So it doesn't mean that any one strategy is the best strategy for football. People are being adventurous, being innovative, trying different things. But I don't think two Titanics, as you're saying, two forwards with similar characteristics are playing in the same position, sometimes getting into each other's way. I'm not sure that's the solution, actually. So I don't disagree with you on that.
But somebody the team though, Kanti. If the players are playing to the coach's strategy, because I feel like if you have a strategy, right, or a system of play, right?
Right.
And a player is not playing up to that system that you want him to play, right? I am thinking that as a coach, you would pull that player and use somebody else who carries out the mantra better in terms of the style of play, the system, right?
Right.
And it's the same set of players keep playing, doing the same thing, and it's the same set of players keep playing, doing the same thing. So I'm wondering if there's even a system of play.
That's a great question. I think everybody's been asking that question, right? So here's a question for you. Somebody asked the question, which they're asking me, but I'm asking it to you. Was yesterday's result, Tuffy Rudy asking the question, sorry, Tuffy, the players or the coach? Was yesterday's result about the players or is it about the coach?
The players.
So you think it's not a coach issue, it's a players issue yesterday? Why you say the players are not the coach?
Though Though I never seen a real system of play. I mean, the team got a lot of chances. The team got a lot of chances we should have put away.
Right.
So despite us not seeing a system and we're not having a system of play, we actually showed that we are superior to Dominica and should have actually won this game about 7-2.
Yeah. I mean, maybe 7-3, but we can live with 7-2. It's a better score. Yeah.
But despite us not seeing a system of play, or seeing a good football play, they're not seeing the ball moving like how it ought to be moving. The players managed to get a lot of chances.
Right.
So I would say it's basically the players. Because I don't think any coach, I see King getting the ball a few times, right? And I see it's either Andy sometimes or what's his name, Palmer. And sometimes King actually dribble up and so close to Palmer before him give him the ball. And sometimes even before giving him look to Vision and try to pass it to Gregory. Right. So I'm saying, is that really the coach's thing for King to really dribble up to instead of moving the ball, instead of passing the ball to him and creating space just in case to receive it back. But few times in the game, is King actually dribble up on the midfielder, like go so close to him where somebody was supposed to intercept them get the ball and actually run go score.
Now I hear you, Showboss. Showboss, some of the people are trying to call in, but I do appreciate the call. Love your perspective. Don't disagree with it. Go ahead.
My solution, because I give my solution before me leave.
Yes.
I think the system that we play against Canada and the formation and how we set up, we play against Canada, Panama and US.
Right.
I think that can be one we build on and just work on the attacking phase of it.
Yeah.
And try the 4-4-2 and try if had another midfielder to the central area there.
So what would that formation be though? Because against those teams we played 3-5. We play what?
It would be 4-2-3-1.
But then we have 3 at the back. Then we have Bernard, Latti, and Ekta at the back. We had 3 defenders.
I'm talking the one with one and then a midfielder in the middle. It would be 4-2-3-1. Okay. So would that be maybe a Bell on the left or Lay, a Pinnock or I don't think, to be fair, me I watch Hector, I don't think he plays good with a back 4.
Okay.
I think he plays perfect with a back 3, where he has options either side of him.
Right.
Than one person.
All right.
So if I play next time, I play him in a back 3, but we have 2 defensive midfielders in front of them. Damian Lowe and maybe Karai, who is more of a box-to-box.
Right.
So Damian Lowe doing the dirty work in front of him.
Yeah.
And Karai being the box-to-box and put Palmer in his natural cam role or Daniel Johnson.
All right. I hear you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Thanks. Appreciate the call.
Bless him.
All right, bless. That was Shower Curtain Boss. That's it. Jeremy trying to call, and Jeremy's persistent. Jeremy, can you hear? Hello? Uh-oh, I think I lost him. Let me open this phone up. Jeremy definitely have something on his mind that he wants to say. Hope he calls back. Or I may just have to call him back. But I think the conversation has been, the formation is something, and people talk about system of play, style of play, formation. Formation is not how you play on the field and all that. But I think they all inform each other, don't they? Jeremy, if you try to call back now, the line is open. I do think actually that it's been something that's been part of people's discussion of late, which is the whole concept of playing 2 up front. And I think this is how the coach plays, right? He wants 2 up front. I think 2 up front actually hurts you defensively. Right? Because I think 2 up front, sometimes they just try to running off each other, running each other away. Jeremy's calling back. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Cranky. Boy, I'm so busy, I can't get catch your show. I'm gonna have to see you,
All right. Thanks for
calling. I heard you were talking to someone. Yesterday I got in a big debate with a bunch of people. Some who know the game and some who do not know the game.
Well, if you're a YouTuber, you don't know the game. If you're a YouTuber like me, you don't know the game. So that has to be clear to people.
And there were, you know, and I was saying that the coach need to stand a little bit of the blame,
Okay.
right? As much as the players. So coach have nothing to do now. I mean, come on, man. You know, the players them did. They did let the coach down, right? Now, a win is a win, right? But we could have done better, man. We could have done better. What do you think about that response? I mean, I know you're talking about that. The coach bears no responsibility.
I think most time the coach get fired, and the players don't get fired most time. The coach, so obviously management always think the coach is responsible because his or her job is to get the best out of the players, right? It's been her. Whether players are good enough, sometimes it doesn't matter to fans, sometimes, or administrators. Their view is that if you're a great coach, you'll figure it out. Now, I would say yesterday, to me, it's a combination, right? There is the players missed a number of chances, which they should score. At the same time, I never watch a game and say we were so dominant, like we have the ball 80% of the time. Like what we're looking for against Dominica, frank to people, rightly or wrongly, is 80% possession dominance, 15 chances, we score 5 or 6 of them. That's what I was looking for, frankly, against a team that is in the 188 plus rank, that got 6 love from Guatemala. That's what we're looking for. That's not what we saw, right? They had possession in the game, both first half and second half, which they probably shouldn't have against us. They had good possession a lot of times, and they got behind our defense in the second half, which shouldn't happen. And twice, the first goal was really poor by my 2 center backs. Second goal was Hector got beat, and he had to foul. I think it was a good foul. I thought the player was being in the box. And then the kid scored a brilliant free kick, right? But also, we got a penalty, which I thought wasn't a penalty. So, yeah.
Yeah, we got a penalty. We didn't score. We got a free kick and didn't score, right? No, you can't blame the coach, right? So let me go back to the first game now, right? With Mikel Antonio and Bowser getting in each other's way, right? As you were saying earlier, this 4-4-2 stuff is outplayed. You know, it's played out. I think we need to look at a lot of stuff. And here's one thing I don't, well, yeah, some people say another coach up at the team, right? No, this is a World Cup qualification. This is serious. We haven't been to the World Cup in God knows how long, right? And I know these players injuries and a whole bunch of stuff. This is not time for experiment, right? At the end of the day, if things does not go right, the blame is going to fall on the coach and the federation as much as the players, right? Am I correct?
Yeah. Oh, the coach will get most of the blame.
Yes. So when someone has said the coach cannot be blamed for that, come on, man. He's right there looking, he's calling the player, he's making the player. If I, Cranky, if I give you a job right to do, are you not executing? I'm going to take you out and put somebody else in. Right. Simple. So I'm going to say, who are you going to put in? That's a big freaking question. But him pick the team. So he must know why him pick that team. Right? So I want the team to be good, but the coach, come on, coach, man, just wake up, man. So a lot of stuff not going right, man. I'm rooting for you, bro. I'm rooting for you. I want to see you succeed. All my nation to succeed, but it's a lot of stuff that it's not on the job training now, man. Just let's look into ourselves and make some changes, man. I just want best, I just want Cranky, I'm optimistic and I want to see good things. I love and rate the coach, but I just think that, we're doing some wrong stuff, man, that we need to fix and sort them out. That's where I'm at right now.
All right. Now
I'll listen to you.
All right. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Enough respect, man.
Yeah, man. Enough respect. So Triple E is saying, by the way, Triple E, we played Dominica, not the Dominican Republic. Most people don't even know that about Dominica, people. I'm be honest, a lot of people don't even know Dominica exists, much less have a football team. They're ranked 180 plus in the world. They're not known as a sporting country. They're not known for their football. They may play more cricket. The feed yesterday looked both cricket and football. It was about sports. It wasn't DR they gave 6. It was Dominica. Dominican Republic has a decent midfield with players like Firpo, who plays for Leeds in the Premier League. They have some decent players, but they're not at Jamaica's level, frankly. And so, would we have a different perspective on the game? Yes, because they rank 180-something and we rank in the 50s. Yes, we would have the same view. They didn't get 6. We would think we should slaughter them because if you watch them play, they're not a very good team. At least not a good team as it relates to world football in general and where we are as a country and where they are. They're just not. So we would expect to beat them by a healthy score, and that did materialize. And that's been very disappointing. I hear Christian saying, so there's the notion that this coach doesn't get to pick his team, and that either the team is being picked with others' input or influence, or frankly, a lot of players in the team may not be players he would have selected. I don't know of that. It's my understanding that he picks the team. I thought when he first came in, he may not have known the players, so I'm not sure they were all his players. But when you're almost 2 years into a job, your contract basically is focused on you making the World Cup. I'd assume you have the authority, the autonomy, because you're accountable for results, to pick your own team. Now, you may not have the leeway to bring in all the players you want, especially the overseas, given cost considerations. But even that now is less of an issue because, as you know, we have, as Rudolph's, and people, if you watch my interview with Rudolph, I thought it was good, so you can tell me if it isn't. That was my first guest that I had on the program. He said we have 5 teams out. We had a women's team out. We had under 15. I think we had under 20. We had a senior men's team. That means there's money to support the program. And if that's the case, then we shouldn't be hearing this whole issue about we can't bring some players from overseas into the national team because we have financial restrictions, right? That shouldn't be the case. So if that's not the case, I would think the coach would get to pick who he wants to. Now, I heard someone mention on some stream that the agent for Wes Harding was probably challenging or questioning as to, I'm going to put it in my terms, maybe why he wasn't part of the call-up. I think Wes is a very versatile defender, but I think the team may have moved on from Wes for some reason. Not sure why. And that's I think the coach is making some of these decisions. I think the coach is the one who wants to call up some, because the coach, as part of his objective, I think, want to give local players who shows potential an opportunity to be in the national team. And sometimes you have to weigh up, if I call a senior player from overseas and I compare it to this young person, that senior player may be just ahead, but he's not that far enough ahead. Why he should get the preference to come and play? And that's a coach's prerogative, right? That's for him to make. But at the same time, we want the best players. Now, I think what Chris is saying is that John Barnes has pushed back on the JFF and basically indicated, I haven't seen Barnes says this, maybe that's why he quit was that, and Barnes had a good record, by the way, that they want to pick. I wouldn't be surprised if people want to pick the team for him. Look, we've talked about the JSF ad nauseum, very strong personalities across the JFF. People with objective may not all be aligned with what the national objective should be, and they're going to make certain decisions. I don't know what the facts are, but I wouldn't be surprised if their influence is there. And sometimes coach may leverage off others in the organization to get their perspective, but to me, it should be their assistant coaches, not necessarily those in administration. And in fact, we hear too much about the JFF, frankly, as relates to football. How much are we hearing about administrators for some of the better teams, England, France? We hear more about France, the coach, and who he picks and doesn't pick. He's benching my player Saliba, which I'm not happy about. And he's playing Kanadi and the kid from Bayern who hasn't played well this season. But that's for another day. We hear about Southgate a lot. We don't hear a lot about the administrators. They're behind the scenes. That's where they should be, behind the scenes, helping the team to have all the resources it needs, all the facilities it needs, all the logistic things are handled out, and let the players go play, focus on the football. That's how it should be. So it shouldn't be that we're hearing so much about JFF. No, it should be lessened. We should be focused on the footballers at all levels and less about the administration. Sometimes the administrations are too prominent, even though they play a key role in the football. Nitro saying, Cranky Christmas need to look at the makeup of Barnes' squad. Barnes wanted to coach club and the Jamaica team. Yeah, well, I don't know a lot about the history of Barnes. I know he coached us. I know he did well for the team, and then obviously he left. But I think we have heard this in the background before about certain players being in the team, not by merit, but by who wanted them in the team. But I would think at this point, given where the coach is, he makes decisions of his own volition and not by the administrators, right? I would think so. No, yourself say, Crank, what do you think of Amari Hutchinson? So Amari needs to make his mind up. And I understand he's young, and I always said give him time. Don't criticize the players. He's young. Players young. You see Whisper doing some of the same thing. Called up, not coming. If a player is very, very young, I give them more latitude than the more seasoned players. And not sure what Amari's situation is. He said he wanted time. He was at Ipswich. He played brilliantly this year for them. Not sure what the situation is. I don't think he played brilliantly for the national team when he came to play with us. But he's a kid, right? And we're going to have inconsistent performance. But I think at some point, he has to make a decision. Am I going to select Jamaica and play for Jamaica? Or I'm going to sit on the fence and wait for England? That's the way I see it. And I'm not beating any player who decide to sit on the fence. That's their prerogative. When they come to us, though, I want them to do their best. I think he played really well this year. But is he really a 10? And where would he fit in? Would he displace Gray? Would he displace Leon? Would he displace Cephas? Or would he be a backup player? Would we change the formation and play him as a 10 and play up the striker and not use two center forwards? Their decision to coach to make, but I would think Omari would be a valuable asset and not a liability. And so I would love to see him make a decision to play for us, because I think he's been smart about how he's approached this. He hasn't been capped, so he still has flexibility. But at some point, we want to have him because we can't have enough good players, frankly. We want all the very good players to be capped by us, like Southgate is doing for England. So we have a huge squad to pick from. And I've always said this, we want a construct whereby we have cover for every position. So you know what? If Antonio is injured, we have cover. If Blake is injured, we have cover. If Lembekis is issued, not just cover, sufficient cover where, you know what, people are fighting for a spot versus people being comfortable in their spot. That's what we want. Stefan is saying, Cranky, what about those who are not playing locally but who are overseas and not playing at the highest level? Those players, to me, are at a disadvantage in getting to know the coach's system. Yeah, look, I mean, we can't select all the players overseas regardless of where they originated from. We just can't. So you have to, the coach has to, I think the coach has done a good job of recruiting, but he also has to focus on, you know what? How do I get information on all the players who can represent Jamaica, who are citizens, playing at a decent level? And do I have enough knowledge of them and their performances to determine what my best 23 or 25 is going to be? Right? That's important. And my hope is that we know a mechanism to do so. When I interviewed Rudolph Speed, he mentioned when they played Cincinnati, Cavalier played Cincinnati, about some of the technology and tools they had, which he think that it puts them at a disadvantage. We need to have all those technology and tools. And I've heard that things have improved. I went to watch practice when they were in Texas. I thought a lot of people doing a lot of different things, which look really good. And I'm sure over time we're improving logistic, resources, people supporting the team, the masseuse, the doctors, the psychologists. All that is now around the team. We're trying to give the players the best chance to be successful. And even though there's a way to go sometimes, you can see the progress being made, right? You heard Rudolph in the interview I gave him. I'm going to go tell you people, if you didn't watch the interview, please watch the interview. Not because I want you to watch it, just because I think it was very informative, actually, which is they're trying to do a lot of things in the JFF, which is going to improve the local football construct, talent, people, coaches, facilities. They're trying to do a lot in that space. And at some point, some of that will bear fruit. But right now, we're in the immediacy of wanting to make the World Cup in 2026. We don't have no time, though. We have to just get the best players and have them play. And part of the consternation on people right now is we didn't look good against this last window. We won games. We won the 2 games. We didn't look good. And we can only we want to see dominant performances against inferior opponents. And we can't sit back and feel good about performances which don't meet the standards that we expect it to meet. So I'm almost out of time, people. I said I'm not going to do more than 2 hours. I'll take one last call or any other comments that people are making that I need to take. And I know there's 100 people on the line, but I have made a decision that 2 hours is my limit. We get cranky after 2 hours with a C, not with a K. So if you want to call in for a last call, please do so. If you have good comments in section here you want me to address, I will also do so. I don't know, Chris kind of can't thank us. Chris Smith, nothing on. Chris, thanks for being here, but Why, Chris, sometimes you make some comment, me have a laugh, Chris. But no, all of ones here, while you're here, people, hit the like button. Please, if you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe. Like button, subscribe, notification bell, so we can have some of these data continuous. As we keep going along, I want you to give me suggestion about how to improve the stream, how to improve the program. I'm still learning to use all these tools that I have at my disposal and to make this better. And I want to be like Amazon. I'm always using Amazon as my barometer. If you go on Amazon, they're always asking for feedback, and they always give you the ratings, and people give them feedback. So all it takes is those things and pull them, take out the best of them, leverage them, and it's not their idea. Well, me want to be like that too. So anyway, I can get information from you to inform my view, give me suggestion, perspective that I can leverage, utilize to help this be better. I welcome it. Right? I welcome it because no person has a monopoly on intellect and information. We all learn from each other. I'm learning from you. Hopefully, I can provide some perspective that you incorporate. And I love your engagement. I love your views. I don't think any view is bad. When I see some comments which make my head spin sometimes, I just sit back, think about it before I even try to respond. Because sometimes we have a tendency as people to follow the herd, which is everybody say A, so we all follow A, and we disregard B. When frankly, we looked at B with some scrutiny, we may realize that B was the better answer, a better perspective. But because we also bent on certain things that align with our views, we don't look at other perspective. I work in a discipline when I was working, which is I was an auditor, really. Well, my job was to see if people were doing the right thing, but also challenge what people are doing. And be amazed when you challenge people sometimes, they reflect and say, oh, yeah, maybe that's not the best idea. Somebody has a brilliant business idea, and you start poking hole in it, and all of a sudden that idea is going to make how much millions of dollars, realize that, you know what? It's going to put us in more trouble. We're going to make money, but we're going to be spending time trying to fix the problems that we have or trying to appease the regulators. That doesn't work. And that's life in general. So in essence, I love the camaraderie. I love the perspective. I love the views. I welcome your suggestion, welcome your ideas. And I want to make this as good a program as it can be. And I want to say the best program on YouTube because that's very subjective. But I want it to be as good a program as possible. And I will have perspective and views like my view on Antonio, where I get beaten about that. Somebody's like, cranky, what you talking about? You're mad. Antonio, pedigree, Premier League for some young 19-year-old JPL player. Are you out of your mind? But part of my view is it's about outcome. And I just look at Antonio's stats. And I look at Nicholson's stats. I have them in front of me. I won't go through them this evening, but frankly, Nicholson's stats in terms of scoring goals are better than Antonio's as with the national team. Now, Antonio's missed a lot of games. I'm not saying Antonio's not a good player. In fact, he fits West Ham to a T, the way they play. But what we need from our players, I need Antonio to dominate in this region. He's been okay. I watched Dixon yesterday. I know Dixon missed a lot of goals. People look at his movements. Look at his movements. Look at his movements. Look at his ability to get rid of the defender. Now, not the best defenders, and we'll see how he performs against better defenders. But I'm looking at potential. And I'm smiling, saying, yeah, he missed a lot of goals, but look at his overall game. Because the overall game, to me, create opportunities for his teammate, give them opportunities to pass the ball to him, get into space to score. And from what I'm seeing from the kid, that's like I saw from Whisper, and I've said previously that Whisper is going to be a very important player for Jamaica going forward. I think the future looks bright. My only concern about the future is this. My final point is this. We produce a lot of wingers and forwards, but we don't produce any excellent defenders. And boy, midfield, we have good defenders, not excellent defenders. And boy, the midfield, there's a dearth of players in the midfield. Like the midfield, look how much people, before we go, I must start over now. Look how much players we have in the JPL playing for how many teams? How much teams we have in the JPL? 10, 12 teams, what number of teams we have in the JPL? So that means if you have 10 or 12 teams, between 30 and 36 midfielders, plus those on the bench, we can't find 2 or 3 good midfielders? Like, really? From the world, and those who are playing overseas, we can't find 2 very good midfielders who can play at a decent level? I'm not saying we don't have midfielders, you know. Our players who have Jamaican nationality, who are born outside of Jamaica, we can't find some players in midfield apart from people. We keep going back to Ravel, you know. Ravel probably stopped playing football. still a Caravel name. Because we can't find a midfielder who is a conductor in the midfield. We have decent midfielders, DJ, K-Roy, Palmer, decent midfielders. But that midfielder, that whole up, you know what? First name on the team sheet. The Rodriguez of the world type midfielders, when we call them in the Premier League, we say Rodri, we say Partey, we may even say Rice. We can't say that. Caller, you're my last caller for the evening. Who am I talking to and what do you say?
Yeah, Cranky, big up yourself. Big up to your viewers, them.
Who am I speaking to?
KJ.
All right, KJ. What do you say, KJ?
Yeah, I kind of joined live, so forgive me, bear with me, in terms of, I don't know really where you're at or where you would basically refer to as a pointer topic. But overall, I'm assuming, generally the whole kind of like game, or should I say this World Cup, what do you call it, the series? For
the World Cup qualifiers, yeah. 2 game series, yeah.
I mean, I think everybody kind of been in the same page in terms of like, yeah, we're happy for the win, but we don't happy for the performance, and rightly so fair. You see me? I think what I've learned from it is like we don't really have a C team, so if we go 3 strings down, we're really in a trouble. B team can probably get us to the edge for carry us to a campaign if we always have 8. Let's say we always have 8 starters potentially down. We probably can scrape through to a level, but if apart from that, we need a solid B team, and that's really where I think the coach, if he learn from this perspective or this window, is to say, yo, you know what, we need the best second string players them in terms of his Frenchman them, and like he should recruit and call. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest problem window was, like you say, kind of like recruit potential or people you want to see who pieces.
Right.
In the campaign of the World Cup, I think that's where the problem is. You can't do that in the campaign of a World Cup. You understand? You should have used that for some other local tournaments or some practice games, but not in the campaign of a World Cup. I think it was too late for him to do it. Or should I say, it's too late for him to do that because, campaign, you can't gamble like that regardless of the teams you are playing. Because enough people will say, yeah, man, everyone JPL team can beat this team, but guess what? I highly doubt it, and these teams are going to fight. You understand? Because guess what? It's not easy as we would think. Ball game to play on paper.
Right.
I think we all know that we don't know. Or should I say, we don't know what we call the coach system. Based off what I'm thinking, I think based on what we notice, I think the coach don't have a good attacking system. Yet him love attacking players. You understand? And we say midfield, but guess what? I don't think he's trying to even look for a 10. His focus is like, listen, he fixed the defensive line. He's looking for the CDM. And him feel like Low is the answer, but we know Low is not the answer. He's a potential temporary fixer. But John Russell, I don't know if you remember that guy. He was in the Gold Cup.
He played in the Gold Cup.
Yes.
And he also scored, actually. Go ahead.
I don't know what that player did wrong for don't deserve back another card. I didn't see an error. I could say, yo, you know what, he never played good, him they have a bad game. I didn't see he had no bad game for the few games he played. I remember when he came on in the Mexico, when we draw 2-2, I remember he played, like I said, in the Gold Cup. And it's like, we'll drop him. I think he had some good little touches. The only thing I would say probably don't have the best of speed, but he has good height. And he can read. I saw him reading the game well.
Right.
So I don't know. I just feel like, what is the problem why the coach didn't call this player back? And like me say, for example, this is a case where this window would have been a perfect window to get a player like that back to see if, okay, he can still work with you in the system. Another thing when we realize, remember Kevin Lambert?
Kevin Lambert, he's in the squad, yes, actually.
He's in the squad, right? He came on the last few minutes in the Jamaica game at home. But he never even, like, I don't know. it's like I don't know. I can't say like I can't rate his performance or see enough of his performance. You understand? Because the reason why I'm saying he is actually a CDM, like where I use low and when I use the person who's supposed to be playing the CDM role. I remember he had a good performance in the US, and that was it. I think he had a poor game after one time after that, but that was it. It's like we threw him away and say, yo, I'm not good no more. Like I think we're just quick to throw away people sometimes. And we know the coach is notorious for playing people at a position are doing too much. The forward line, like I said, between Boza and Mikel Antonio, they are very similar style striker. The only thing I would say, Boza doesn't do more work as how Antonio does, but Boza tend to hang around the goal line and make more of a poach of it for the opportunities. Well, you see me? I do think we need Antonio. For like when you have the stronger teams, you need somebody to keep that defense not being such a high line against we. When we know a team is gonna outpossess us, like for example in this Copa, you probably need an Antonio with that presence, a little more clinical, more stronger, everything. But
so
apart
Carla,
from that,
question for you, Carla, before you go further, which is, do you think Antonio scores enough goals?
no, he doesn't. But then again, here's I said no, but here's a question. How much chances we can say, yo, Antonio get that chance and he miss it in the berry?
All right, great point. But here's what people got to consider. Because someone is saying, well, Dixon only played against Dominica and missed a lot of chances. If you watch a football game, it's like what's his name from Liverpool, Nunez. Watch a football film and some players get no chance and some players get ton of chance. You ever notice that sometimes with some players, and you said players miss a lot of chances,
Definitely.
which is true, but some players seem to somehow find a way to get those chances, right? So,
Yeah.
he played in the Gold Cup. He played against inferior teams. We beat some of those teams by good score, where Bernard is scoring and Russ is scoring. Antonio didn't score a goal in the Gold Cup. Played 5 games, didn't score 1 goal against some inferior teams. We didn't only play the US. We didn't only play Mexico. We played some inferior teams in the first round. He didn't score 1 goal and he played most of the games.
Yeah, but I guess like you said, service he wasn't getting service, and I mean,
no, but
I agree with
the service you get sometimes, Caller, is what you create. So here, I'll give you an example. The pass from Cephas to Dixon in that game. Dixon's almost forced him to give him the ball, right? Because Cephas doesn't really pass the ball that much. Cephas has his head down,
realize.
Right? So if I put myself in a position where you're saying, you're embarrassed if you don't give me the ball. Even in the Jamaica game where Dixon ran offside in the second half, I think it was, his movement saying, I'm going, play there. So then you as a player with the ball have an option. If I don't give you options, you can't have options.
And that I agree. But that's why I said, for example, when we play if let's say we play in Ecuador, I wouldn't necessarily start Dixon, and I'll tell you why. 9 out of 10, I think Ecuador is going to outpossess us in the midfield because we don't have that midfield quality. So already we're going to lose that battle. We're going to depend on our wing and our forward. The thing is, like I said, with Dixon don't have any height advantage. And most likely because we can't win the midfield, we're going to play over the top. He has the speed, yes. He has the little agility. But at the end of the day, these defenders around the back line are going to push him around easily. And not only just that, it's like you need somebody that can basically maneuver them man for man. You already know, and you probably, I don't know if you remember, even in that Damrep game in Jamaica, most of the time, they double team Antonio, are even three of them are trying to tackle him one by one, and it's like, it's hard to get down. He's a bully, he's a bulldozer. It's very hard. So I think that robot style will help us because he will draw even at least 2 players. You can get I think that's why, for example, Cephas looks so good in the Jamaica game versus this game, because Dixon is a smaller player.
Right.
Antonio will require much more attention. Dixon is because Dixon now agile. Them say put 1 player on him. Cephas now them are going to double him or stay away. So for example, he doesn't get that roaming as how he was getting it in the first game. So that's what I'm trying to say about with Antonio. He attracts more attention. And that's sometimes you need, because guess what? If you have the good flank players them or the wing players them, it will open up that little space for you more, because he's going to draw a double team 9 out of 10 towards him. That's why I said I would use Antonio in those cases. But apart from it, like it's a level team where I know say most likely we can have 50% possession. I want Dixon, or maybe even if as we grow into the game now, Dixon will have the chance to run at it. So that's why I was kind of like saying Antonio with a perspective,
Right.
isn't it? But I think he's needed for the campaign, you know.
No,
Sometimes
look, caller. There's no way he doesn't play. All I'm saying about possibilities, the coach is very traditional. He's going to play the player with pedigree. Antonio, if he's fit, Nicholson, if he's fit, all those players, if they're fit, they're going to play. Gray going to play, Nicholson, that's what he's going to play. That's how he is.
Yeah.
Right? Lowe is probably going to go back to defense. It did not come to the midfield. Lowe may play the midfield. I would bet that we will have Lowe. We'll have Pinnock, and maybe Deshaun on the field. At least 3 to 4 with Hector. At least 3 to 4 will be on the field most times during the game. Right? If you were to pick a midfielder, I'd probably play Hector in the midfield more. I play Lowe in the midfield, because when Hector gets the ball, he knows what to do with it. When Lowe gets the ball, he's less offensive in terms of his ability, and so he doesn't have the ability to maneuver to get the ball to the players, to his teammates where they should be receive the ball. And I've seen Hector play midfield. He's a decent midfielder, but I don't think they're playing there because they've been playing in center back since he came back to this new coach.
I think, like you said, from a defensive perspective, I think we kind of have a good amount of players that will really help us. Offensively, I think we are good too, but like you said, it's just the style of the system, which we don't think we have, but it's just the system. I think this coach is just so used to playing teams that are not high. Like Jamaica is probably the biggest team he's played so far, if you ask me, in terms of players on paper. So him don't know if he even have an offensive style of play, because he's used to playing this defensive style. Hit them on the counter break and then we equalize a 1 goal and try set low block the whole time. So I feel like he doesn't know how to, all right, I'm a top heavy, but we don't know if it make these play. So I'm going to put 2 up front, or the 2 forwards them to beside each other and make the flank work and see if we can create some glory, which we have been doing. But I just think like over time, those look are going to run out power. You understand? And
yeah, man.
I just feel like, the coach needs to step it up. You understand? And I think this game yesterday, I think the players have missed so much chances. Like Boza, to me, as we supposedly first pick our number 9, you have to be more clinical, Virgin, and you have to step it up. Because if not, then even the coach himself are going to say, we need a more clinical striker. You see me? So,
yeah. Don't disagree, but I don't think we have anyone who's going to replace any of our strikers as it stands now. So, and I'm not sure the strikers are the biggest problem. I think the midfield is where we're more challenged, actually.
All right. Just to end, who is there out there for us to even say, we can help that?
No, they're players with Jamaican heritage, but until they come on board, I won't talk about them. But they're players with Jamaican heritage who probably could help the team. But that's for sometime in the future if that occurs. Right now, we can only work with who we have, and what we have now is the 3 main forwards, which is Antonio, Nicholson, and also Dixon's now putting his name in the mix. So that's what we're going to be working with. And I'm feeling I feel good that Dixon will probably go to Copa. He may not get a lot of game time. And I want to talk about Owen. When you finish, Carl, I'm going to talk to Owen and comment about comparing Dixon with Premier League player. But go ahead.
No, man. We don't want to shoot the youth. Because, all right, to be honest with you, still, if Dixon didn't score that 1 goal yesterday, at least, the amount of beating he would have get, trust me. I'm telling you. So sometimes it's a small window way of how much glory you give somebody versus how much somebody will tell you how them are good. So we have to be careful, because in games where it might come when you actually score those goals and getting those chances, we have to be careful. Because like I say, how Nunes is, for example, just always create this excitement, no goals, and people beat him, kill him, and then when him score a 1 goal, people say, yeah, man, him have the potential. So,
well, by the way, I like Nunes. I just don't like how much goals he missed. But I like him missing the goal for Liverpool because I'm an Arsenal fan, so I don't really care if he missed it.
That's the point.
All right.
Well, I'm not care for them still. I'm a Chelsea fan, so but big of myself. Still.
All right. Thanks, Carl. I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. So Owen. Let me say this, Owen. If I told you a year ago, Owen, that Cole Palmer was at Man City, couldn't get into their first team, only got plays here and there, would go into the Chelsea team and get Sterling out the team, even though they play on different sides of the field, what would your thoughts be? You would say I'm out of my mind, right? What we're looking at is potential. What we're looking at is what the player seems to have in his repertoire. We do understand the level he's playing against, and that when you step up in level, the games become more difficult. But we see the raw potential. And what we're saying is, my current players are not producing how they should, then I have to try different options. Now, the player is not being exposed at the highest level. Just like we gave Whisper an opportunity in the Gold Cup, and he did score, and he did look decent, even though defensively I thought he was lost. Dixon, to me, is a different player. He plays both ways. He plays eager. He's running off the ball. He's tackling. He's doing what I think is needed from a striker. He doesn't look out of place playing with Nicholson in the team. Now, if he was playing with Nicholson like some other players we put in, and he looks lost, then we say, you know what? It goes another player. Tell me where Dixon looked out of place playing in the national team, both when he came on against DR, when he played in Dominica, when he went on against US, even though it was late in the game in the Nations League. He doesn't look out of place. So I think it's a little bit negative to say you people know nothing about football. You're comparing an EPL player with some player playing in the JPL. We're talking about potential versus actuality in terms of how we see what we see from Antonio. But hey, to me, Antonio is like Balogun. Balogun was the biggest thing since sliced bread come from the US. He has not produced. And I rate Balogun, and he played in Arsenal's academy. And before he went to Monaco, I'll go play someplace else before he's now at Monaco. But he hasn't produced. And it's about production, especially when you're supposed to have pedigree. If you're not producing, you know what, Mickey, I really defend you because it's about production, especially for your national team. So, Owen, I understand your perspective around, look, we're comparing a JPL player against a proven EPL player. But when you come to this environment, it's different, right? Gray was at Everton, wasn't really getting game time, got pushed up by Dwight McNeil, went overseas to Saudi Arabia, playing well there, come from the national team here, and it's been phenomenal. It's about production. If you're not producing, then you know what? I will look for alternatives for you if you're not producing. But anyway, people, I appreciate you being here. I'm over my time. I would say 8 o'clock. Now it's 8:21. I love the dialogue, love the perspective, love your insight, love your input. I'll be here again tomorrow. I don't know what the topic is. I got to think about it. I don't want to keep talking about the same thing over and over again, but I do want the interest. So here's what you do, people. Drop in what you hear. You got to be part of the conversation, right? What you want to hear about. Now, what I look at is the news of the day and figure out what news make headlines and should I talk about those news. But I love if you have a topic you think will generate interest that we should be talking about, drop it in the comment section or drop me in my on my channel, and I'll think about it and figure out whether it's something that I think would generate interest and perspective and views that we should talk about against any of the sporting discipline, because I'm not just talking about football, basketball, cricket, and I haven't taught much track and field, but I'm a big track and field fan. I can't say I'm a track and field aficionado. I'm a fan, and I love the sport. And I support the sport. And I also want to talk track and field because we had some good race this weekend. And if you go to Coach's desk, Coach talks a lot of track and field. Had good support there. Olympics are coming up soon. I don't like how the women field look. Missy Brianna Liston said she's done for the season. I thought she was going to be putting her head in or cap in the hat or being in the ring. So, right, I got another call. People, last call, I'm not taking my call. But Elaine doesn't look that hot. We don't know where Shelly and there. And Sharika looked so. Frankly, no, she won a race more recently. So the woman has been carrying us since both retired, frankly. We like how Oblique look, and hopefully Oblique continues on the form that he has. In the hurdles, Parchment look all right. Broadwell look decent. I'm missing something. Kid coming to KC was world champion. I can't remember his name, but he's been running well. We see a 400-meter Price running well. So, I'm going to take the last call, people. Caller, this is my last call. I promise I won't take another call. Who is speaking is my last call for the day. I promise my last call. Who is speaking?
Church.
Who's Church?
You've been here. I hear you preaching in the synagogue, Cranky. It's all right, man. You're not forward. You see, church.
I must you know.
Church.
And when people are coming to the stream, I must you come on the stream, star.
Church is what the old pimps in California used to say back in the day. Church.
All right.
So
good night.
Yeah, man, bless up military, Cranky. I like what you're doing. I see you doing that thing. People. Actually, before me even start talking the foolishness over here, me talk something sensible. Wanna please subscribe to the channel and make the channel grow enough. Anybody know? Boss step on retirement right now. He no want no money, he want some YouTube check, and YouTube check them can be beautiful if the subscription nice. So no jump in over here, subscribe. First, you're gonna feel before you start anything.
But Gunners Boss, you know, Gunners Boss, I say this because you talk about money. I'm not doing this for the money, people. I'm doing this because I love the dialogue. And frankly, you've never heard me, and you will never hear me ask for a super chat. And you'll never hear me ask for a super chat. Right?
And you know, have to ask
fun.
it, you know. Yeah. You can't ask it yet because it's not up there yet. As soon as
but I'm just saying, I won't.
As soon as the subscription go up, it will be monetized.
No, but I'm saying, even when I reach monetization, I will not ask for super chat.
No, you tell the people them say, tell the people them say, you know, want for them money, YouTube, money bigger, man, YouTube, I subscription, we want. I subscription, we want, you know, when you go live, every time you go live at $1,500, if you have 1,000 viewers or more, you know.
All right, I hear you, Gunners Boss. I hear you. I don't have an aversion to money, but yeah.
We not sit down here and talk to the people them and teach the losers them how to win. Like losers like me. I include myself in the bag of the deplorables. Teach us how to become more than deplorables for free. So we want YouTube check. Anyway, Cranky.
Yes.
You see, you talked about basketball earlier, but you know that me never catch the basketball conversation. I've been in and I've been out.
Right.
So now I want to touch a little topic with you. Most of your viewers, they might. Don't leave, please. And just stay here where we are talking about. We are asking, please. You notice, I've been watching on and off the WNBA, right?
Right.
Since the new year, because when them start out with the Liberty, the Comet, the Houston Comet with the girl when named Kim Parrott who died from cancer. Yeah. Bad like a shot point guard from them time there. I don't know if it was Rascal did own the team or who did own the team them time there. But I've been watching it from them time there with Cynthia Cooper them and the LA team and them. You know what I mean? Because you know those are the people who come into the league first, right?
Right.
On and off. I have never heard some people talk about the WNBA. Now, we have to blame the media, you know, because the media have been hiding the WNBA and been disrespecting these females for years, you know. Even things where the WNBA start out, the woman, them in the WNBA, you know, the media never give them no respect for it. You know, what they do is they wait until the guys hijack it.
Right.
And when the guys them hijack it now, the woman was kneeling before Colin Kaepernick. The woman was saying, I can't breathe before the Wayne Wade and them. Before the Wayne Wade and LeBron James them, but at them hijack the program now when them see it a catch fire and the woman them do them thing and them come and start with them thing and them get all the praises and all the respect and the females never get no credit. Now, all of a sudden now, me listen everywhere you go, you hear all of these big pundits, the SAS and the SS and all these people on their platform and the ESPN and all these platforms talking about Caitlin Clark should have gone to the Olympics. And I was looking at these people and I said, I wonder if these people are uneducated and they sit on the radio and just blabber their mouth because they want attention and they want clicks from people. Caitlin Clark could not be qualified for the Olympics based on the fact that during the Olympic trials, she and Angel Reese and all the top players in the Final Four and heading to the NCAA National Women's Basketball Championship, right?
Right. So
they was not available for the trial, so they could have never met the trial. Now them in at the W, if them cut them teeth, them all get in there. But people like Stephen A. Smith, them and them is talking like, oh, they should have bypassed them and just send her in there because of the money she brings. So what about all the other players over the years who have to earn them weight in the national team? You see the kind of foolishness of the people them are talking about now?
Yeah, look. I think it's very interesting what's happening, Caitlin Clark, because I think the narrative is going one way, and I'm not sure we're looking at things from both sides. Which is, yes, she's bringing a lot of notoriety, popularity. She's a very, very good player, but I think if you're in the WNBA, you're like, well, where were you people? Because we've been having very good players in our league, but they may not look like the majority of those who control the purse strings. So because the person of a certain persuasion, even though they're a very good player, why is it focused on that person alone, and that person is not drawing all this interest? And as you're saying, where was the media before? Now, I'll say this about that, which is, if the fans in general, I'm just saying generalize, are not interesting in something, and advertisers are not interesting, you ain't gonna get what you're seeing now. The media sometimes can create the buzz, just by them being the media. They can by themselves figure out what they want to push, and they'll push it if it's gonna make them money. It's just like Trump, for example. Not to go to Trump, which is Trump makes the media money, tons of money. No matter how they want to complain, some of them love Trump, but they say they hate him, but they love him because he generates money for them. And as you're saying, in Caitlin's case, actually, if you don't participate in the trials, as we know, then you have opportunity to get picked. So the question is, do you make an exception for her? You'd have to drop somebody to do that, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those are the things that's causing the issues now. It's just like the people, and I'm looking at it, and they make a big argument about it, and no, just go and figure out. And she now supposed to come out and tell them, no, I was being prepared. I was preparing for the final.
So Gunners Bass, I need a favor from you, Gunners Bass. Can I ever cut you this evening? I have to go. But here's the thing. Bring this tomorrow. Yeah. Come tomorrow early and we talk about this more.
Tomorrow
we don't want to talk about things superficially. We want to talk in depth, right? Yeah, so come tomorrow. We'll talk more. Because you know what's more interesting about this? It's an interesting topic, not just for what's happening with the Olympic team, but the narrative and the things that we're seeing with Monica Manoff and Steve Naismith and the challenges there. And I want to talk more about why us as a people have so much dispute in the public domain, what drives that, especially the people who are supposedly successful, why we can't all get along. So the conversation will broaden from just talking about Caitlin, what she brings to the table, which is a lot, and she's helping the sport immensely. How do they leverage that? But also talk about some of the things that are happening, not ancillary to that, but connected to it. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can also talk about how the Panthers beat your New York Rangers.
We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. All right. Bless up, Gunners.
All right, sir. Tomorrow.
All right. Bless up, Gunners. I appreciate you calling in. All right, people. That was Gunners Boss. I appreciate the call. Everyone gotta go. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here. And hopefully you join me tomorrow. Same time, same place. And we'll be here and we'll have interesting topics to discuss. So as we always say, as we come to this point, which is I appreciate you. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification button. And I'll play this to, I'll play my DJ thing for take you home, all right? Cranky Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Cranky Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my cranky life. Whether it's football or track and field, Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, Cranky Life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Life. Tune into Cranky Life. Like up Cranky Life. Subscribe to Cranky Life. Cranky Life coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Life sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Life. Me say fi tell them Cranky Life. Me say fi heed them Cranky Life. On them Cranky Life. Cranky Life will be around. Cranky Life is the best in town. Me say fi eat them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi eat them. Want them, eat them, want them. Cranky life. Cranky life. Eat them, want them, eat them, want them. Cranky life. Cranky life. Eat them, want them, eat them, want them, eat them, want them. Cranky life. Cranky life. Cranky. Eat them, want them, eat them, want them. Eat, want, eat them.